Welcome. Welcome. This is not playing. Greetings, greetings, welcome, welcome. Welcome. It is Judgment Day, ladies and gentlemen. All rise for the dishonorable John Lang. Welcome. It's Celebration Day in the courts. Hope you guys like my official attire. Welcome. No, I couldn't find the red line. You'll see we're celebrating in a moment. I'm kind of giving up, but I really am. Hey, get it right, road guy. Dishonorable. Dishonorable judge. Yeah, order it in the chat. Here. Pardons are going to be delivered. Welcome everyone to the most crooked court in the land. I wish my hair was really this luscious. Looking good on here. I could be a judge. Look at me. Look at me. I look the part. I can't even feel these headphones on my head through this wig. It feels like I'm not even wearing headphones. Yes, the flowing locks. We got the gavel right here on deck. And it's going to be used today. So that song you guys were listening to probably pretty loudly just then was actually the theme song to a new channel called Audit the Court, where we are taking the notes from how we do an ATA episode and applying it to a whole new channel with all new content. I see that some of you have probably already discovered this from today's post on ATA, but if you haven't, please take some time, go check out this channel, give Audit the Court your support. It would be sincerely appreciated. So that's what this Get Up is all about. We're celebrating the birth of Audit the Court. That's why we're here. And that's what's so special about today. Audit the Bong. That's funny. Fairlane. So yeah, just to let you guys know, we have officially launched the Audit the Court channel. We're going to be uploading there at least once a week for a while. Hopefully we'll pick up the pace on that if we, see the traction developing there. I mean, this video from today is doing pretty well. Already have 2,000 subscribers and 13,000 views on this video. So that's a good start. And now we just need Audit the Alien for the full trifecta of auditing all the shit. So, in honor of today being the sham court day, I suppose, we're going to take a look at a few different interactions and judge them, if you will. One thing I want to say is that I plan on in the future doing call-ins. So if you ever had a question or something you wanted to talk to me about directly, or if you just want to talk shit to my face, we'll probably do that on Saturday. I'm going to get that set up. No one audits the auditor. It's audits all the way down. It never ends. Audit my outfits channel? Go for it. Probably have a lot to say about that. Can't say shit about this outfit, though. This right here. I feel important. I feel respected. I feel powerful, credulous. I feel like order in the fucking chat. Order in the chat. Audit the audit. Audit aliens. Audit courtrooms. Audit the government. Audit the news. You can put audit D in front of anything and make it a YouTube channel. My family love this hair. They're surprised I managed to grow it out so good. You know? I gotta share this. Chat has a gold fringe. I have no power here. I gained a couple pounds of costume. Oh, what's up, Electric? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you back, dude. Just to throw this back up there, we are celebrating today. Audit the court. Shimmy squared. My man. Love the content. Thank you for the $10. Love the money. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm by far, Denzel, one of the most professional grade, serious YouTubers on this channel, on this platform. Definitely on this channel, considering that I'm the only one on this channel. But yeah, you have to take me seriously whenever I'm talking, especially when I look like this. You know what I mean? So I'm probably going to end up having to take this fucking wig off at some point. It's already getting hot. This thing is I feel like it would just immediately catch fire if any little spark landed on it. I'm going to leave it on for as long as I can. Everybody's thinking Santa Claus. I guess that this is kind of more of the what you would see nowadays in a UK courtroom. It's definitely, yeah, well, PF Dennis is taking it right out of my mouth. Yeah, but don't disrespect the judge in his chambers. That's right. I'll hold you all in contempt. Contempt of chat. You guys you're fucked if you don't speak out of turn today. I'll file sanctions against you. You'll be held in contempt. 30 days. Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to share this with you before we got into anything today, because obviously this is why I'm wearing this fucking stupid outfit right now. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this. I'm shedding. This is going to be everywhere in here. I bet we're going to be finding these for weeks. Welcome to the Kangaroo courtroom, where nothing is serious and the judgments don't matter. Oh yeah, this is Amazon quality for sure. I mean, you can see straight through this wig. Look at that. Ugh. I feel like a Yeti. All right. So yeah, like I was saying, I just wanted to show you guys this so you know why I'm dressed like an idiot right now. And then we're gonna watch some body camera shit like we always do. We got an update from James Freeman. We have a really interesting video that I haven't watched yet, but seems interesting because of who made it and what it's about. You guys probably don't know much about this content creator, or maybe you do, but he's sort of outside the wheelhouse of the First Amendment community or the civil rights community on YouTube. But he made a video involving law enforcement that I think we should check out and just kind of judge, if you will. Yeah, the judgments for today are going on the loser's credit report. So bear that in mind. That's definitely happening. I have that power. Oh, what's up, Victor? Good to see you, dude. All right. First and foremost, we are going to watch a police interaction that originally came from BPcast's channel. So shout out to BPcast. Oh, Metro. Shout out to Metro, first of all. And secondly, yeah, I knew that. I actually watched Otto's video about that. And it was interesting for sure. Yeah, shout out to BPcast for doing the thorough combing of the internet. Oh, yeah, I should. You know what? Now that I'm a judge, I don't even have to file a lawsuit against the internet. I can just rule in my own favor. You're all guilty. The whole internet owes me, I don't know, $5 billion or whatever. So pay up, pony up. I'll issue a bench warrant if you don't pay your dues. So just letting you know, you're on notice. The judgment's been rendered. Here. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's it. You're all guilty. Hey, I have jurisdiction over the entire world. All right. I'm a special kind of judge where I basically just get to do what I want. And that's my powers. So, yeah. You're fucked, basically, is what I'm saying. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, constituents of John Lang channel, it's a global injunction on the entire world. $500 quadrillion. I'm ruling in my own favor. Next time I'm running for president, so you guys really better. This is a precursor to all that. You know, I started the channel 6-7 years ago. My plan from the very beginning was to become judge of the world and then eventually move into king of the world. But first, I got to become president of the United States. So it would help. It would help if you guys would just submit to that authority. You know, don't cause any questions. I don't want to hear about the Constitution or whatever bullshit you guys are talking about. Dude, you look ridiculous. Why take you seriously? Don't take me seriously, Wendy, you fucking dumbass. That's why I'm doing this. Don't take me seriously. What are you, fucking stupid? Wendy, you're guilty. You're guilty of being an idiot and not understanding a joke. The sentence is 12 years of having to listen to Joe Rogan's stand-up special hour after hour, back to back, never ends. 12 years, Joe Rogan stand-up special, back to back. That's your sentence. I know you're probably not going to survive that. I don't know who would. But yeah, sorry. I hate to levy such a heavy fine, such a heavy sentence on your offense, but yeah, that's why. It's cruel punishment. I know. You'd rather listen to Baby Shark on repeat. Wendy's so ordered. Here. Order in the chat. Order in the chat. Order in the chat. I'm not going to do a disclaimer for this video, by the way, guys, because if you think I'm a real judge, then you've got some problems. I think it's pretty fucking obvious. I'm not a judge. And if you need a disclaimer for that, then good luck winning a lawsuit. Yeah, I'm a Wendy's restaurant right now, but without the red. The red all fell out and went here. I'll take a number 5 with fries. Hey, watch it. You're insulting my position as a judge. You want to be sentenced to some fucking random bullshit I think up on the whim? I don't think so. Better watch yourself. You're going to get swatted for impersonating a judge. Yeah, I know, Wendy. I know. I've seen you in here before. The carpets don't match the drapes. That's for sure. That is for sure. And these are some luscious drapes right here. They're draping, boy. They be draping. Look at them draping. Draping. I'm draping. I'm a draping judge. You ever seen a judge do that? Oh my God. About to send my headphones to jail for being wired. My headphones are wired. All right, Billy D. First order of precedence, lower property taxes. How about abolish property taxes? No more taxes at all. We're not doing taxes anymore. When I become president, we're just not doing taxes. All taxes are gone. Government will operate on donations. And we'll just trust the people to donate generously because I know that they'll appreciate the service that we're offering. Dominaire, my man, $5. Thank you, dude. Have I done an analysis on Barnes v. Felix? I have not done an analysis on it, but I did include it in a recent episode of ATA. So not a full analysis, but I did mention it, and we talked about it a little bit in a recent episode. I can't remember which one it was, but I'm aware of the case. We have discussed it, not really at length, but maybe we can do that at some point in time. But yeah, we'll talk about that eventually, specifically. Okay, let's get into actual video. Hey, Electric, don't you start talking fucking crazy. We all know that. We don't have to bring it up. All right, me and my boys, we all got syphilis. It's all right. Okay. Better be careful. This fucking hammer's coming your way, dude. Better chill out. All right, let's watch some fucking police interaction videos. This is what we're here to do. Render false judgments. Make shit up as we go. You know, typical court things. All right, here. All rise. Dishonorable Judge Lang. Sham court is now in session. What? To cut the dog says, Your Honor, I think chewing gum should be legal in Singapore. Please rule in my favor. Wrong. No. Chewing gum is banned for probably a good reason. Is that even real? Is chewing gum not allowed in Singapore? That's fucking crazy. Why would they not allow that? That's insane. Welcome, Catherine. Thank you for joining us again. Why? Why is chewing gum banned in Singapore? Now I gotta look this up. It's been illegal since 1992. Motivations for the ban include stopping the placement of used chewing gum in inappropriate places. Okay. That's weird. So basically the only reason for banning chewing gum was because it was a maintenance issue. That is ridiculous. Singapore, that's it. We're going to war with Singapore when I become president. We're going to restore the gum rights to every citizen in Singapore. That's a good use of our military power right there. So go ahead and get your early ballots in. And we'll go take over Singapore, and it'll be America poor after that. Oh, all right. Now, I've said it a bunch of times, but now let's actually get into watching some fucking police interactions. Daniel says it sounds like they don't need it if they leave it everywhere. I guess that was the logic behind the banning in the first place. So, ladies and gentlemen, this video, 33rd, my man. Welcome back, brother. Today, it's the dishonorable Johnny. Do I think there's a black market for chewing gum in Singapore? Definitely. Anytime there's any goods or services are made illegal, it just turns into a black market. There's no way around it. That's exactly what's going on there. So this video says that First Amendment audit calls for backup. All 3 officers cause hazards, owned, and do the walk of shame. This is from North Georgia Audit. It says these 2 bikers were overheating and needed to stop. The officer pulls on, claiming they made an unsafe turn. As all 3 officers to call for backup cause a hazard in the road. Interesting. Now this is something I can get behind. This is a universal. I think I rule in favor of this. I rule in favor. No more live action remakes. Disney, we're looking at you. Make another one. See what the fuck happens. We'll have you in this courtroom so damn fast. Bro, watch yourself. But yeah, that's a ruling I can get behind. I'm starting to appreciate my constituents. Appreciate you all coming up with these genius legislative tactics. All right, let's get to the video. Let's see what happens. Oh, my headphones are on my ears.
Yes, sir.
Good.
What is that? That's a 650, right? That's not a 1000, I don't think. I wonder if that's up.
What's up, guys?
Those pictures.
What do you get y'all for, if you don't mind me asking?
Because our bikes are overheating and we're trying to go around to the right so we can pull over. Because it does feel like we're going to have a heat stroke and the bike's going to overheat. His bike was almost at 300 degrees below the engine. So we had to get out of the way.
Is it being decent?
You're going to take it.
Getting a ticket. Couldn't even let you off with a warning. Yeah.
You know where we're supposed to pay to park?
That little building right there, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, are you getting that?
Or that kiosk. See that kiosk?
Just so they can be on the comp show.
It could be. It could be. Depends on how he acts, right?
All right, 2x. Here we go. Let's get to some action here.
It's all about extortion, man. Got to get that tax money. Would have been a perfect situation for a warning. You know what I mean?
All right, I'm a little bit confused. So why are they getting a ticket? Maybe I didn't catch that at the beginning. It was hard to hear what the guy said, but I'm hoping that that'll just be clarified at some point in the video. I'm going to go ahead and skip to where we see some police interaction actually happening.
Causing a bit of a hazard where you're parked at, officer. You couldn't have pulled up 5-10 feet so the people get through. You're causing a bit of a hazard where you're parked at. You're causing a bit of a hazard where you're parked at.
Okay,
See these cars the way they're trying to get out into traffic?
I do.
You couldn't have pulled forward?
I can.
Okay.
If you'll stand right here and tell me how far to pull up, I'll stop.
Are you not smart enough to realize how far to pull up?
I'm just asking you for your assistance. Would you like to assist me?
I'm assisting them
Okay.
right now. So you go ahead and finish, extorting these gentlemen. And call for backup?
Yeah.
You need backup? You need backup for this?
You know how we were talking the other day about whether or not women should be in a patrol capacity? I kind of think the same, that there should also be an age limit for patrol as well. I really think that that should be a thing. And it's the same reasons largely for why I think that female officers shouldn't really be a thing. It's just, it becomes a liability at some point, and it is a safety issue. Not only that, but, I mean, one of the biggest critiques I have for female officers is that in the most critical moment during their job, right, which is when danger is present, especially to others or immediately to them, they have a lot more leeway to use deadly force because of the disparity of force that often exists in those situations. And I could see that very same argument being made for older generations of police officers as well. So just want to point that out while we're looking here. I mean, I feel like this is a situation where you don't need to call backup, and that the only legitimate reason that I could think of for why he would need backup is because he's not physically capable of handling one additional person on the scene. So, yeah. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there.
Wow.
You need backup for this? You need backup for a guy with a camera telling you to pull forward? You're causing an obstruction with your vehicle.
They have 20 on the radio.
You're going to look great.
1021, apologies. I got you set down.
10-4, can you have another officer for common assistance?
What would you need backup for?
10-4, radio.
Am I a threat to you?
Didn't say that.
Another thing to point out is that it seems like this stop is being prolonged pretty significantly just because this cop wants to have a conversation with Mr. North Georgia Audit. You don't get to just engage in casual conversation with some guy. I mean, he hasn't done anything to warrant talking to him at all. Where is John? Who is this guy? It is I, John, the dishonorable John Lang. It's been me the whole time, guys. This is what I'm actually like. This is what this is my real hair. These are my real clothes. This is what I look like in everyday life. What you've seen in the live stream so far has just been me pretending to be, that was John Lang. This is the real me. So get used to it. All right. Get used to it. All right, let's get back into this.
Yeah, am I interfering?
He's going to help me move.
Am I interfering?
No, I didn't say
Okay.
you were.
Okay.
You're helping me.
Why are
I
you
appreciate it.
calling for a backup?
I appreciate your help.
Yeah. Passive aggressive. Passive aggressive. Why don't you go ahead and
Listen,
continue extorting these
I've
gentlemen?
been doing this for several years,
Yeah.
and you're not going to make me mad.
You know how many cops I've gotten fired?
Why does this shirt say that? Isn't this how you say police in German or something? Or what is up with that? Anybody have any clue? I'm assuming it has to do with this area. It is German. It's a German town. It's Polish. Is it Polish or German? Or is there even a meaningful distinction? It's Italian. Okay, apparently this cop is just from every place in the whole world. Yeah, I'm leaning. It's a German town. It looks German in the background here, and that makes sense.
That have been doing for several years. Look me up, North Georgia Audit. Look me up.
PD anytime, sir.
Okay.
I'm just here doing my job.
You're doing your job extorting these guys. There's plenty of other things going on around here that could be getting done. Go ahead and get these gentlemen out of here. You write them tickets for something you deem unsafe, as you are unsafely parked and causing a hazard. The irony. Oh, the irony. Tell them to step it up. How about that?
Thank you all who are subscribing to Audit or whatever.
I didn't tell you not mad. That's cool. You look stupid is what it is.
No, I look stupid. Okay, I look stupid. I'm the stupid one here. Watch yourself.
Don't bother me.
I'm cool. That's great. That's an awesome quality you have as a police officer. The stupidity part is the lesser quality of your police duties. Call for backup.
We're just going to pull up and pull up.
Yo, I just want to say to anyone who's never ridden a bike or may not know, these suits that these guys are wearing, this one right here, especially, it's leather. They're hot as fuck. They're very hot. And standing out there in the heat in a suit like that is brutal. And yeah, I hate that this cop is prolonging this stop for no reason to interact with somebody who has nothing to do with the stop and is also not doing anything illegal. He looks smarter than most judges, not going to lie. Thank you, Wonder McBlunder. That's hilarious. I feel smarter than most judges. As a matter of fact, I'm going to issue a ruling right now that I am smarter than most judges. And don't question my ability to do that, all right? Because I'm smarter. Ruling stands, all yeas, all in favor, me. Okay, that's all that matters. All right, I'm officially the smartest judge in the land. Thank you for the $2, Wonder McBlunder. All right, let's get back into it. No, I really am sweating under this. XP, thank you for the $1.99. I hereby appoint you. You'll be the treasury. You'll be the treasurer when I get elected. So, glad you're contributing to my campaign now. While you're ahead, there's some positions I might consider you for. So if you want to donate to my campaign, presidency after my judge presidency is done, feel free.
Just keep driving around. Go take a ride. I'll call you when I'm done. He called for backup. Because he didn't like the fact that I pointed out to him he's causing a hazard.
I'm gonna go right over here and accept.
Yes, ma'am. He called for backup. This fucking guy. What's your name and badge number, sir, since you made contact with me?
And again, I can't hear you.
What's your name and badge number since you made contact? Philip Wood,
33rd.
badge number, ID number?
You're going to get a better position than that. Don't worry. Don't worry, dude. I'll put you as the director of the military or whatever. I'm going to relinquish that duty as the president. You can have it. And then you got to go invade Singapore.
Which one you need, my ID number or my badge?
Badge number's fine.
721.
721. Thank you, sir.
I still can't really hear.
Here's your backup. Maybe he can help you pull forward. Now you're also causing a
These cops just love blocking the roadway, don't they? We got all these empty parking spots right here where people don't intend to travel. And we're going to park 10 feet away from that. At Samari, $2, my man. I do have a Discord actually, but I haven't done anything with it or made it public or anything like that because I don't have time to moderate it. But that'll probably be something that comes in the near future. You know, the more we go along with the streaming stuff, the more we'll get into the other stuff surrounding it. So
you're also impeding traffic. So both of y'all are causing hazards right now, right? Yeah, that's okay. Okay. What's your name and badge number?
It's Officer A-Cuff 708.
A-Cuff 708. So you guys pull these guys over for something that
I'm not going to link it yet. We'll talk about that in the future.
Allegedly was unsafe while you unsafely park, causing obstructions to not only pedestrians but other vehicles. The irony, right? The irony. And he called you for backup for a guy that's standing here with the camera. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, basically. That's a fair characterization.
Oh, the irony.
Probably has 2 cops.
Fucking guys will never realize, man. That badge doesn't grant you special rights. You know that, right? Anything that I can't do that's illegal, you can't do. Can I pull my car and park right there and get out and do whatever the fuck I want to do? No, neither can you. Neither can you.
Well, to be fair and honest about this, I think they actually can do that. And he's right that they don't necessarily have any authority or ability to break the law that a normal citizen doesn't have when they're not operating in their law enforcement capacity. But when they're in the course of a legitimate investigation, they are typically granted special authority to do stuff like this, park wherever the fuck they want, like idiots. It's stupid. And I don't agree with this type of behavior, but is it unlawful? Probably not. Is it unfair? And a lot of times, yeah. But is it necessary? Also, yes. So I look, here's the thing. North Georgia Audit, right, is making a lot of like broader philosophical critiques, you know, like critiques of the system and the inequality that it, you know, fosters, and applying it to one isolated incident of a traffic stop, you know? And I'm not saying that his critiques aren't valid, but I just think it's hard to take like big, broad ideas and apply them to highly specific situations like this, you know? So I appreciate the message, but I think it's kind of obviously falling on deaf ears here, and it's not going to resonate with anyone or be meaningful in any way.
Right? That's correct, right?
Welcome back, Waffle.
If I can't do it, you can't do it. Look at this one. Oh, y'all need 3? Y'all need 3?
Turns out they got more than 2 cops. What do you know?
So there's another hazard. There's another obstruction. Another obstruction. I didn't know Helen Police was like this. Sir, you're causing an obstruction. All 3 of you are. Best thing for you to do is get back in your car, kick rocks. You're dismissed. We don't need you anymore. I think 2 is good enough.
I agree with that. Why the fuck do we got 3 cops here over a traffic ticket and some guy doing something that is completely legal and in this day and age totally normal? It seems like a total waste of resources. Hey, 30. You better watch how you're talking in my court. You better fucking watch it, dude. Or watch your damn mouth, brother. You're talking to the dishonorable judge here. Fucking, I'll send your ass to Singapore and put you in one of them tiny third world cages they got over there, dude. Remember, I'm judge of the world. I can send your ass anywhere. You better watch it.
Why is it okay for you to obstruct that pathway? Can you explain that, or do you not have an explanation?
Beeps. He got a camera call in the entire country. Yeah, you better. Oh, county. He's saying that they brought in all the cops from the county for this camera call. Yeah. Basically.
Because there's not one, right? Right, Takeoff?
Welcome, Lucky Laptop.
Not an explanation.
What are these?
But you guys want to ticket these two gentlemen
Yo. Is that no? That's a 3.
for something going 2 miles an hour, trying to get their overheated and overselves bikes.
I love the M3 in this body style. They came with that. I think it was a 4.3 liter V8. That was sweet.
And themselves off the road because it was a hazard. Look, see that car? See that car? Because of your vehicle, that car just had to almost hit that cone because you're obstructing. Fucking moron.
Yeah, I don't think it was, Danny. I can't believe they still have these guys sitting here. I mean, we're 12 minutes in, and there's no telling. I mean, they were there long enough to have all their gear off, his jacket unzipped. He's obviously burning up hot. The bikes were hot. That was the whole reason they pulled over. Oh, yeah, Billy, I forgot this is in your neck of the woods, man. So, yeah, you probably know this town well. I didn't even think about that. Oh, you filmed there before. That's
Yeah, this car could have pulled out that way, but of course you're obstructing, right?
yeah, you got it right. You're just supposed to ride until your fucking bike explodes. I don't know how many of you have ridden a bike on a hot day, but bikes are not good at cooling themselves down. They suck at it. They're very bad at it. And unless you have something that has a very robust cooling system that you've went out of your way to make happen, or you're driving like an H2 or something like that, or a Ducati, bikes get very hot, and you do have to pull over and let them chill, especially if you've been riding hard. So just common knowledge for that.
See what he's having to do? Do you see what he's having to do? There's another one running off the road, trying to get past your vehicle. Why couldn't you pull in here? Because that would make too much sense, right? You got
Peter, a lot of freaking bikes are just air cooled too. Yeah, no, that's a good point. A lot of bikes are just air cooled. They don't even have a legitimate cooling system. Which, again, I don't think either of these bikes qualify for that, but you know,
guys aren't about making sense. You're about making dollars. That's about it. Nah, he'd rather obstruct the roadway so people can't get through because he's a dipshit.
This is
Cut that back up to help you. Now it's your turn to Now it's your turn to get the fuck out of the way.
I like North Dakota audits. Okay, this makes a lot of sense now. This is about 30 minutes from Dragon's Tail. That could be why their bike is overheating, you know? Because when you're ripping it on that road, your bike's definitely going to overheat. And it's going to be impossible to not just be constantly shifting and revving and being at high, low RPM. Your bike's just going through a lot on a road like that. So makes sense.
See you later, dipshit.
I knew he was going to give him a parting gift like that. That's why I let that ride, because I knew he was going to say something. Oh. Yeah, so those cops are guilty of all kinds of shit. Guilty of being dumbasses, guilty of blocking the road, guilty of being an asshole, prolonging the stop, too old to be patrolling, room temperature IQ, bad PR. I could just go on forever. Billy says he filmed quite a few of them riding that stretch, and man, they were zipping. It's a very narrow road with extreme curves. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that road. Anyone who has a motorcycle or who has ridden them in the past is familiar with that road. Some cars even rip through there pretty easily. It's a fun road. I've never been there, but I've seen plenty of videos of it. I would love to go. That would be so fun to take a bike down that. Yeah, guilty of fear of cameras. That's another one. Good. Oh yeah, I should start adding Celsius to that room temperature IQ line. That's good. I like that. So now let's first of all, just want to remind everyone, because probably weren't here. A lot of you weren't here earlier, but we've officially launched Audit the Court. That's why I am the dishonorable Judge Lang today. If you haven't already, click the link that's pinned at the top of the live chat and go subscribe. Let's do what we did to the body cam community, to the courtroom cam community. I remember back before I started ATA, I saw a landscape on YouTube of body cameras and auditors posting things and perpetuating misinformation and people not understanding what's really going on and what the law says, what it doesn't, who's right, who's wrong. So that's the intent behind Audit the Court is, the interaction doesn't stop, or law enforcement doesn't stop at the interaction. It goes well beyond that. And there's a lot that people could learn about the judicial system, not just the law enforcement arm of the judicial system. So hopefully this channel can become a valuable resource for people who want to learn more about that stuff. So if you could take a moment to go check it out, subscribe, that would be sincerely appreciated. But I'm going to hop back over here to another video because we have an update from James Freeman, or at least something of an update. I don't really know. He did a live stream yesterday about this time, and I have not watched it. The title of this live stream is "You Can Only Advocate for Violence on Me." So I kind of wanted to just see what he's talking about, see if we can get an update on what's going on with him, and, put our 2 cents into the ring of whatever is going on. Thank you all for subscribing to that channel. That means a lot. It's always weird trying something new. You just never really know if things like this are going to work out. And of course, it really helps to have an audience of people who already appreciate the kind of work that I do. And so it's nice to have that. And I appreciate you all for taking the time to go and show that channel your support. Yeah, every one of you who are not hitting the like button right now is going to get sentenced to and face a heavy penalty. I'm going to make you go chew gum in Singapore. You don't want to know what happens when you do that. If you're in this chat and you're not hitting the like button, you're getting sentenced to going to Singapore to chew gum. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what Mr. Freeman has to say about what happened the other day. See if there's any meaningful updates to this. Before we get into that, ex-law enforcement here. Wow. Welcome, John Griggs. Happy you're a part of the channel. Thank you for joining us. Was stopped pretextually on the way to a job site. I own PI security, PI armed security, and was in full kit. The cop implied deadly force, wondering if interested. I mean, shoot me an email, brother. And by the way, you don't have to donate money to ask me to take a look at something. I'm more than happy to do that. If you could, just shoot me an email. My mod can post my email address here for you in a minute, and I'd be happy to take a look at it. So just shoot me an email, brother. All right, let's take a look at what James has to say here. Yo, I feel this. There's like this awkward moment when you first begin a live stream that's always weird. And so I feel this moment right here. James has got pretty eyes, man. Very nice eyes. All right, let's get to
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's James Freeman. First off, the video of Chief Nolan's attack on me was released yesterday on the Lackluster channel. Probably should have put a link to it in the description here. I posted about it on my community page as a community post, just to link you over there. After the stream is over, I'll also post a link to it in this description and in the pinned comment. The stuff that I was doing stories on in Sarita and in Tucson and in Pima County, I was covering other people's stories. And I think that that's really the best way to do it, because I'm sure that Pastor Steve and his wife think that they were right. And so it's kind of better, in my opinion, for somebody else to cover the story. In Leon Valley in 2018, when I was illegally arrested twice in a week, one of them being a felony charge, I stopped covering my own story there. And Justin Polium covered that for years. Justin Polium with the corruption report. So this isn't something that's really new to me when there's kind of a possibly large case and I am right at the center of it. I don't really, I'll let everybody else handle it, both sides.
Yeah, and this is when I talked to James shortly after this actually happened. That was the advice I gave him as well. And I'm not trying to, by no means am I trying to take ownership of James making this decision to not release the footage himself. What I'm trying to say is that I agree with that. I think that it was a good idea for him to not release the footage himself. And I told him that, honestly, if I were him, I wouldn't release the footage at all. And I wouldn't turn this into a YouTube spectacle if you intend to actually pursue this with a lawsuit of some kind. But, he kind of made a compromise there and let Lackluster release the footage exclusively, which I think is better than him doing it himself. And, that potentially corrupting some aspect of his case. Jamoyne, thank you for the $2. I'm acting suspiciously honorable. Yeah, you know what I was gonna do is come into this live stream and actually act like a tyrant judge the whole time. But then I would just have to put honorable in front of my name, you know? But I think maybe by acting suspiciously honorable, I'm actually being dishonorable. I don't know. Meta thoughts we're having there. We're taking this court to a new level. Anyway, but yeah, that was the advice I gave him too. Is like, hey man, it'd probably be in your best interest to hold on to that footage. But again, I think the compromise that he found with it works.
And both sides are, but everybody's getting their 2 cents in on what they think happened, who they think is right or wrong, and that's great. So I didn't actually want to release the footage as quickly as I did. I spoke really quickly and promised you guys, my viewers, I was like, you know what? The footage will be released either Monday or Tuesday. And over the weekend, I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, I've been through this stuff before, and I've seen what happens when footage of bad cops gets released, and then their buddies try to rally around them, and cover it up, and make it seem like it's okay. And
Nyan, I'm not explicitly talking about this when I gave him that advice. This is advice I probably would give to anyone in a similar situation, any of my friends or people that I know personally that would go through this. But I will have to say that if I were Sean, I probably wouldn't be milking that interaction for as much content as he is. And not saying that he, milking it is a bad characterization, I guess. I just wouldn't be so forthcoming with everything that's happening at a public level, because I think that could ultimately damage your case in some way. You're essentially putting things on the record when you're posting them publicly online, not in a literal sense, but, in a practical sense. So I would have probably given Sean the same advice if I'd talked to him prior to him uploading the video. But again, who knows? Uploading that video could very well be good for him. It's just that you always want to chill and try to not show your cards whenever you're dealing with a situation like this. And I think publishing the footage and actively engaging and building a narrative around your actions and what actually happened will ultimately just muddy the waters of a court case. So again, I don't want to say that it was a bad idea, because it could very well not be. But for most people, this would not be the most legally prudent thing to do, in my opinion. But again, these guys know what they're doing. The advice that I give you all, who aren't a bunch of people who are well known for doing these kinds of things, is going to be very different than how I would view what someone like James Freeman or Sean Paul Reyes does. They have different motivations, different tools and resources and things like that. So, but just saying, if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, think before you publicize. Think about the long-term game here before you just upload your footage or even send it to me to publish, And I've had this conversation with many people who submit videos to ATA. And I, as a matter of fact, there's a video right now that I've had done, completed, ready to go, but it's been on hold for like 2 or 3 months now, because the individual that it involves is in the middle of working out a deal regarding the criminal charges involved. So there's oftentimes, it is in the person's best interest. I'll give you another example. Just the other day, I was sent a video through the forum process, and I reached out to them purely to say, do not publish this footage right now. This footage that you have, just hold on to it and wait till you get to a resolution before you publish this anywhere, because it could just make things way more complicated than they need to be right now. So, and I'm glad that I was the person who responded to that individual, because they told me that they had reached out to a bunch of different outlets and no one had responded yet, thankfully, because I guarantee you that if someone else had responded to them, they would have been like, yeah, let me get the footage. Let's get this uploaded right now. And they never would have even thought about what are the actual implications of uploading this footage. So just something to consider, you know, and something that a lot of content creators probably won't tell you when you're submitting your videos to them. They're not going to consider what's in your best interest. So just bear that in mind. Not everyone out there is looking out for you.
Or even if the people who are seeing it think that that's what's going on. I don't always like some of the outcomes. And so I spoke quickly and said, hey, it'll be released on either Monday or Tuesday. I started reaching out to multiple people and groups to advocate for me instead of me doing things myself. I reached out to one person that I was wanting to, I wish we had more time to spend on it. That other people had more time to spend on it, because I would have asked for a very specific thing to be that if you're going to reach out to Lackluster, did an incredible job, and I'm incredibly grateful to him for it. And he did it very, very quickly. It was his daughter's birthday. I don't know if I even should have said that. He had family things going on though, and so he actually he dropped everything. He didn't drop his daughter's birthday, what he had going on, but the very, very first day he was back at work, he instantly jumped on it and spent like 12 hours straight putting that together.
Yo, shout out to Lackluster for that, because I know how much editing went into that video and how difficult that is. To get it done in basically one day is impressive. And just Lackluster's overall work ethic is just insane. I mean, the amount of videos that he creates is incredible. And the fact that he's doing it pretty much by himself is even more commendable. So shout out to Lackluster for getting that video done so quickly and getting it put up really fast. Yeah. Lackluster gets a gum pass. That's right.
To get it out. But I wish that we had put something in there that people who are angry could use as a copy and paste. And the reason is because sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times when we are angry, when we are frustrated, and when we are emotional, I think that sometimes we do and say things that we should not do and say. That's enough.
Yes, I couldn't agree more with that. And this, you know, I see you in the chat here. I just wanted to be left alone. And don't beat yourself up about it, man. It's natural. It's a natural emotional reaction to want people to know and understand and hear your story whenever something bad happens to you. It's not a natural response to think, let me hold on to this footage. What are the legal outcomes if I decide to publish it? That's why people like myself need to take on the responsibility of making sure that the people who are submitting videos understand those implications. And so I try to go out of my way to make sure that the people who submit videos actually do want them to be published, because a lot of times they do so without really thinking too far ahead, as you have said you did yourself. But it's okay. You know, it's not the end of the world if you do publish something online. And it's not necessarily going to ruin your case. So don't beat yourself up about it. And it's a totally normal reaction to having something like this happen to you. So don't worry about it, man.
Another reason that I would prefer that other people handled this and will continue to handle it rather than me. Because sometimes when we are angry and frustrated, we do and say things that I don't think that maybe are the best and most constructive. And so I have in the description here if you are just furious and pissed off, but you just absolutely must reach out to the council, the city, the mayor, the town, whoever it is, and you just absolutely have to say something to them, and you can't think of anything to say except things that might possibly cross the line. I put a copy and paste in the description for you. And it uses my typical satire and sarcasm.
We got to check it out. We got to see what it says. Oh, here it is. So it says, thank you for teaching James Freeman aka James Springer, a lesson about trying to shed light on violent, lawless criminal thugs such as John Nolan and his gang. I'm sorry he forced John Nolan to violently attack him. I hope John Nolan's wife doesn't force him to do the same at home. While I think this is funny, I don't know how much it's going to help James's case for people to fill up the email inbox of the city with this kind of message. So please don't do that. I don't think that that's a good idea. What the hell? Call to actions are a dangerous thing. This is why I refrain from ever doing that on ATA and just in general. I don't like doing call to actions. I feel like they actually end up causing more harm than good for most people. I think that you should let your voice be heard, but maybe in a meaningful way, you know? But yeah, that's funny, but probably not a legally prudent thing to do.
Which is something that I enjoy using. And so the point of that, I'm live. And so the point of that is, I just don't really think that we accomplish very much. I get it. All of us have a right to be angry. I think I think that's a natural response to what's going on here. Oh my goodness.
God, I feel his pain so much. You guys remember the last stream when my daughter was not?
There is a 4-year-old knocking on my door.
Dude, I know how it feels, bro. I know exactly what that's like. I've been there. I was there yesterday or day before. Yeah. I feel your pain, James. Feel your pain. As a matter of fact, I'm sentencing both of our children to jail in Singapore for interrupting our live streams. James, I expect you to have your kid ready, packed, ready to be sent to Singapore to chew gum by the end of the weekend or something, you know? Can't give you too much time. I know your kid's a flight risk. Mine is too. I've already got her ready to go. We're packing her up in a suitcase and she's gone. Gonna be chewing gum forever.
You guys remember that newscast one during COVID when the guy was in his the newscaster was in his office and the little kid runs. Anyways,
I remember that.
Totally distracted. Okay, where was I?
You were talking about how everyone has a right to be angry.
The point is, though, that just because we're angry at what violent animals and violent thugs did doesn't mean that we need to be like them. The whole purpose of just about everything that I do is to draw attention to and shed light on bad people doing bad things. And I don't think that becoming just like them really helps.
Oh, are you heading out, Pariah? I didn't even see you in the chat, dude.
That's just for me. I can sit here and say that to you guys all day, and I know that there's some people who say, "Oh no, James, they deserve to die." Yeah, I don't think that we're going to get anywhere with that. I've actually specifically talked about, like, I get why people say what they say. I get why people hurt cops. I do.
Ugh. Again, I just really think that I just don't think this is a. I'll say this: if we end up in a federal court about this, I guarantee you they're gonna try to play this video. So, you know, just something to bear in mind.
But from a logical perspective, if you sit back and look at it, I mentioned the time in Dallas, Texas, multiple times. I think it was 2015 or 2016, where somebody got mad and literally killed every single officer he could set his eyes on in Dallas, Texas, and he ended up killing 5 officers and injuring 4 others. Was there less tyranny in the world? Was there less abuse in the world the next day? There wasn't. It didn't even skip a beat. It didn't skip a beat. So, I mean, from a logical perspective, it didn't really.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hating cops, killing cops, doing bad things, and just going out of your way to hate cops is not going to change anything about how cops do their job. And all of these people who send these emails to cities talking about, oh, we're going to hunt down your police chief or your city attorney or whatever. You're not doing anything to effectuate the movement whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I would even argue that you're setting it back, because all you're getting out of that is a reputation for being a violent community. That's all you get. You don't get justice. You don't get a change. You don't get new policies or any kind of reform. You just get people pissed off and calling you an asshole. If you want to effectuate change, you have to play by the rules of the system. And that's just the only way that we have right now. Unless we get to the point in this country where we're just in a civil war or something to that effect. I mean, my point is the only thing that's going to make a meaningful difference is literal legislation or an entire paradigm shift. And the only way we get to a paradigm shift is by slowly changing the system enough for it to make a meaningful change. Breaking the system, I don't think is going to actually work. And as a matter of fact, I think breaking the system would probably make everything we hate about police even worse. You see right now with what's going on in DC. In case any of you haven't seen any of the videos that have been circulating about what the federal law enforcement agencies are doing in DC and the kind of unilateral authority that's being assigned to them from our president, I think that'll give you a good idea of how far this can actually go. And this is all still just, within normal acceptable ranges, apparently. People are willing to die on the hill of Trump no matter what he does or how outrageous it is. And don't get me wrong, I think that there's a lot about Trump that is mischaracterized in the media. He's not a fucking evil, person. I think he's a fucking useful idiot to all of the people in the government who wanted to get things done through the presidency and now have an open door for that to happen. And one of the biggest things one of the most impactful things that I think he's doing involves all the power and leeway that he's given to federal law enforcement agencies. Sets a very, very dangerous precedent moving forward. So, again, I'm not an anti-Trump guy, but I am anti-authoritarianism, and that seems to be the direction that Trump is heading, just objectively speaking, So, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got on a bit of a tangent there.
Actually help anything. If anything, it gave them more fuel to say, "Oh my God, we're the victims." So here's the thing: it's not okay to advocate for violence against the government, but as you know, it is okay, one, to violently attack me, and two, it is okay to advocate for violence against me, which is the reason for the message that I put in the description that you can copy and paste and send to the town of Sarita if you feel that you need to reach out to them. And the only thing you can think of to say is something that you probably shouldn't say. Just send them that. It basically says something along the lines of, thank you for violently attacking James Freeman so that he could be taught a lesson about, how to shut the hell up and sit down, something along those lines, right? And sorry to John Noland for that James Freeman.
Yeah, I want to highlight this comment because it's something that I think a lot of people, especially Americans, tend to forget. Fitzroy says, I'm all for continuous improvement, but let's be honest, the system we have before is one of the most free societies for individual liberties, and tearing it all down would likely be a big mistake. Yeah, what something that people don't realize is that although we deal with a lot of issues in our country, a lot of law enforcement issues and freedom related issues, we are still one of the freest countries on the face of this earth, and by far one of the greatest. If you were to go to many other countries, you couldn't get away with half of the shit that people get away with in this country just from what they say, much less what they actually do. You got to keep in mind that you don't have a right to do what James is doing right here, right now, in most other countries. There are countries where I would be put in jail for looking like this and making a mockery of government. You know what I mean? So just the fact that I can do this and that James can do what he's doing, and that there's an actual, protecting arm of, we have the Constitution that protects our rights is a very special thing. And I think that people should recognize that more often and not get too caught up in the whole America is bad rhetoric.
Forced him to attack him. And hopefully John Nolan's wife doesn't force John Nolan to attack her at home too. That's the best I could come up with, but I figured it's better than, again, you can advocate for violence on me. That's not wrong. That's not wrong to them.
I'm curious about what he means by that. Has someone from the department advocated for violence against James? And again, I don't have like a, see you later, Daniel. I don't have like a full scale understanding of this, but I'd be interested to know what he means by them advocating for violence on him. Now, there's no doubt that they perpetrated violence against him, but in what capacity did they advocate for that violence? And if they did so in a professional context, under the operational capacity of the department, then that probably would be illegal.
Right? You can advocate for violence on me, just not on them. They're totally okay with it. Not only are they okay with it, but they praise it. They love it. They feed off of it. There's a small niche of people in the Sarita community at a specific fake news network that are feeding off of it constantly. They're like, yes, and look at it from this perspective. It's clear that I'm not like them, and that most of you are not like them. So many people are looking at it and saying, oh man, he got what he deserved. He got what he had coming. And that is their mentality. But if you were to turn around and say the same thing, oh, that cop got what he deserved. He got what he had coming. Oh my God. How dare you say exactly what we say all the time? But what if the roles were flipped? Both me and John Nolan believed that we were in the right that day, right? But I don't think that violence needed to be done at all. But since we both believe that we were totally legally and lawfully right, I don't know if John Nolan did believe that, but I did. I still do. What if the roles were flipped? Some people are saying, oh, he deserved to get beat down. Others are saying, oh, well, it wasn't that bad. Sure. Okay. I've seen far worse. Even when it first happened, I said, look, I'm a ginger. Okay. I can take a beating. Kick a Ginger Day comes once a year, and I got to be ready for it every time.
Hey, shout out.
But what if the roles were flipped? If I did to Chief Nolan exactly what he did to me, where would we be right now?
Well, I think this is an interesting question, but I think it's also not very nuanced, because, the jury's not out on the legality of everything that happened here. I mean, Nolan still hasn't been, there's been no criminal charges filed against him. Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely think that there were constitutional violations that had occurred during that interaction. But we don't necessarily have a decision and a court's perspective on who was standing where, how this happened, how it's actually going to be interpreted through the system. And granted, I'm not saying, look, this is not a comment on the ethical nature of what happened. I think that anyone watching that video would clearly come to the conclusion that what the chief did was wholly uncalled for and completely unnecessary and inflammatory, hostile, demonstrating all of the characteristics of law enforcement that we don't want to see. And this is coming from a police chief of all people. So there's many critiques to be had about what the chief did from a ethical perspective, but the legality of it is still up in the air. You know, we can watch the video all day and make some inferences about what happened, but, and you know, you would be surprised at the way things shake out when you apply legal doctrine to them. And it's dangerous to take things at face value when it comes to the courts, because they will surprise you. Yeah, now that is something that I've heard a lot about this, and many people who are in the comments section of the news stories that are covering this interaction are saying something to the effect of this comment right here, that after he was told to move, everything after that order was lawful. And I don't necessarily know. I mean, like, you guys remember when we watched the video together, I felt that it's a little bit of a hairy situation, and it's going to be difficult for us to make any legitimate determinations about the legality of what happened there. So I just, again, like I was saying, I really think the courts might surprise you with their logic on certain things. Can you get a close up? The dishonorable John Lang in the flesh. Take your screenshots. You can get a close up. In exchange, I'd like you to give your support to Audit the Court. It is pinned. Welcome, Liquid Flame. Good to see you again, brother. The same inequality of law was applied to Long Island Audit and Cop Tua. If Long Island Audit had spit on the cop, it would have been different. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a question of lawful equality here. There's no doubt about that. And I think that the point that James is making here is a salient point, you know, and I think it's a practical, realistic point. But again, like I said, when you start to apply legal doctrine to things that you're only absorbing at face value, things get a little bit different.
Think about that. What do you think would happen? What do you think would be the outcome? I can tell you for sure, I'd actually still be in a cell right now. I think I'd probably be facing a minimum, probably 10 years in prison. And I wouldn't have done it. Of course I wouldn't have done it. But that's the point is, like, man, if we live in a system of law and order where the law is applied equally to everyone, what would happen? What would happen if the roles were reversed? Well, first off, the charge for assaulting a police officer in Arizona is automatically a felony. The same charge that if I attacked, gosh, I was going to say an 80-year-old woman, but I think that falls under elderly abuse, so they're a protected class. But
well, yeah, and I think that the logic behind the court is that law enforcement officers, to some degree, are a protected class, just like elderly people, and not protected in the same way, but they are a different set in society that do need rules tailored to their specific workforce. Now, I don't necessarily agree that there should be a felonious distinction between assaulting a cop and assaulting a normal person. But I do think that the overall idea that there should be certain kind of protections for certain kinds of people is a reasonable thing for a legal system to consider. But yeah, I agree with the overall notion here, which is that why are there specific higher penalty rules for assault on a cop? I can tell you now, it's to discourage assaulting police officers, obviously, because they operate in an inherently dangerous sector of our society. But again, I don't necessarily agree with I think that the end result of that is just a rules for thee, not for me style situation. So I do appreciate that, but I also think that there is merit to the idea that they should have some sort of specific legal protections and leeway.
If I were to attack some other 30 or 40-year-old man, it's a misdemeanor. But if I do the exact same attack on a police officer, it's a felony. So already we have magical protected special classes.
That's a good point, Adam, and I think that that's kind of at the heart of the critique. You know, it's like if deterrence is the logic behind it, then why wouldn't you issue that same deterrence in the first place to everyone else? You know, we already have laws against assaulting people, I guess is the real point.
What would be the result, though, if I did it to him? And I think that's something the entire town, most people who look at this just, I think I would have been murdered. You're right. I certainly know that they would have defended themselves by any and every means necessary, up to and including death. So if the roles were reversed and I attacked him, he would defend himself. His fellow officers would help defend. Let's say two of my buddies decide to jump in, and we all decide that, oh, you know, we're all defending our each other and ourselves, and police will always escalate to the maximum, though. So anyways, I left something in the description for you guys. If you feel like you have the need to reach out to them and tell them what you think, but you don't think that you can, in a state of anger or frustration or emotion, keep yourself from saying something that you probably shouldn't.
Liquid. So he's saying police shouldn't have special protections. I don't think that he's saying that police shouldn't have special protections. I think what he's saying is that it shouldn't necessarily be through statutory means or through an escalation of the punishment that you would get in, you know, normal court. So it's not that I don't think that James is saying explicitly they shouldn't have any protections that normal people don't have. He's just saying that maybe they shouldn't be represented in a statutory format that punishes people to a greater degree.
You can go ahead and take my copy and paste and just send that to them. And then go fume and be angry all by yourself in private. And then when you've been able to cool down and level out, then maybe at that point come back and do or say something more. But don't be like them. This is what happened to me is a tiny little piece of what's going on here. It's really not. It's compared to the bigger picture of what's going on. What happened to the Aikens? A 70-year-old woman getting a door smashed on her face. I think that really, in the end, maybe it's good that this did happen, because it's just all it's doing is bringing more light to the town of Sarita that has some serious deep issues.
I think that this extends beyond Sarita. And we've covered quite a bit of, I think we've covered 3 or 4 different interactions just from Sarita, but we've covered probably 15 or so interactions from the state of Arizona. I think Arizona as a state has a big police problem. They have a lot of corrupt officers, a lot of terrible policing. The state in general, I would put it up there. You know, I for my worst law enforcement states tier list, if you will. I'm gonna lay it out here for you. All right, so we got, in no particular order, we got Florida. Florida is one of the worst states in the country with law enforcement. It seems like every cop in the state of Florida is a fucking idiot. Oklahoma would be up there as well. I just saw it in the chat. Yeah, you took the word right out of my mouth. Oklahoma's up there. Texas is another one. Very bad cops. I would say California, but the reason I think that California tends to have a lot of bad police interactions is just the fact that it's very highly populated. And if you notice, a lot of the police interactions, especially the negative ones that come out of California, they're mostly in metropolis areas, usually in or around LA. So we got Florida, California, Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona. Those are the 5 worst in the country by far. Honorable mentions would definitely be Colorado, particularly Las Vegas, but Nevada in general. And then Georgia would probably be up there as well. Yeah, North Carolina too, because they have that fucking bullshit law about, you know, not giving up body camera footage. Yeah, Mississippi sucks too. Basically, all of the states that are in the bottom 10 of any meaningful metric that you would use to judge the like how well a state is doing, it's almost a direct, you know, relationship with how well their police officers perform. That's an interesting correlation, you know, maybe something worth talking about. Oh yeah, and we could throw Connecticut up there too, especially since considering all the shit that Sean has been dealing with from that state. Now, they're not all red states. I mean, you got California. They're not all red states. Like Connecticut is not a red state. California is by far not a red state. It's probably the bluest state in the country, outside of New York. So it's not necessarily tied to politics as much as it is the general operational status, I think, of those. Oklahoma just hit 50th in education. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. Oh, all right. Time to get to the next video. Welcome, Turtle. Welcome to the court, to the dishonorable court of America, of the world. All right, so we got one more or another video here for you. Pretty much one more video. I have not seen this video. Oh my God, I got to piss so bad, but I really don't want to walk through my house in this freaking costume. It's going to be ridiculous. I really do got to piss though. I'm going to throw up this episode of Audit the Court for you guys to watch while I go take a piss real quick. And I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about this. Be interested to hear what you guys think about this anyway. So it'd be nice to you guys watch this and let me know what you think when I get back.
At the end of the daily docket in the Greenwood County Magistrate Court in Eureka, Kansas, courtroom cameras captured Judge Phyllis Webster and County Attorney Jill Gillette discussing several individuals who allegedly failed to appear for their scheduled court date. During their conversation, Judge Phyllis discovered that a procedural error had left her unable to take action against the individuals who did not appear in court, and implied that the county attorney's office may be the source of the error. Ms. Gillette's response to Judge Webster's remarks prompted a heated exchange that very well could have placed her career in jeopardy.
Tanya Sanchez.
We already did Sanchez. We have a Tiana Richardson and a Dustin Newport I still have.
Well, hold on. That's not what I'm showing. What do you have, Missy?
I have Alfonso Caldwell and Tiana Richardson. That Newport bonded out, or no, well, he bonded on ours, and then Lyon County come and got him before.
I noticed, okay, he was taken off the docket. And what did I do? Mix up Tanya Richardson and Sanchez?
Mm-hmm.
And no one mentioned that I was using the wrong name?
You were using the right name.
Well, and these are my couple that I don't have anything filed to show that they have to be in court. I don't have a summons. I don't have a uniform notice to appear issued by the officer in the ticket.
Judge, the girls filed the ticket earlier today.
Okay, let me see if it's, maybe I just need to double check. Mr. Caldwell.
Tickets were issued January 23rd, 25 at 20:59 hours. But
Okay,
today,
well, let me make sure they made it to the file, because I'm not seeing that. I don't see that, Ms. Gillette, and until I have filed verification that they had noticed this hearing. I'm not finding that. You're sure they filed them?
Arlene was the one who did it for us.
No, Missy, do you have that where you can look at it? Because I am not seeing it filed. Maybe I need to. No, I think I've already refreshed to see if they've been added. What was that, Missy?
I said they're not showing up in the case yet.
I don't know if upstairs
I'm
hasn't approved them or what's going on.
I'm back. The real judge is back. The real judge is in town. God, this wig is so annoying. How much time does 2 minutes and 40 seconds? So I guess not really enough to make any decisions about the content. No, that judge is great. Judge Webster. She's a good judge. Very fair. Yeah, all rise. This honorable judge, John Lang, is presiding. No way I washed. No, I didn't wash my hands. Or my butt. Definitely didn't wash my hands. What, you got something to say about that? Better watch yourself, buddy. You snagged a screenshot. Let's save it. Send it to me later. All right, I want to get to this video because it's really interesting. And then we'll probably wrap it up after this one, but this is a long video, so. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's a little earlier than I thought. All right, so we have this YouTuber. His name is Tommy G. All right. Let me just open his page here for you guys. This is Tommy G. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his content at all, but he makes different content. Like he goes to places, does basically kind of like citizen journalism. Well, but he just goes to places where people don't normally go and films things that people don't know about. So Night Patrol with the Chicago PD is something he did. High stakes gambling, investigating the hidden secrets of Area 51, you know, And to be honest, he doesn't. He's not really a. He's not a journalist. He's just a guy who goes there, and films things. He doesn't really operate in a in a journalistic capacity. But he released this video recently, about this cop, and it's called "Investigating Michigan's Most Aggressive Police Officer." And what's interesting about this is that Tommy has been pretty regularly posting pro police content, a lot of pro police content. I don't know if you guys saw when we looked at his channel. I'll go back to it real quick. But he tends to characterize like this, for example, the night patrol with East Chicago PD. I mean, just look at the thumbnail. You know, he's done quite a few of these where he's like with a SWAT team, you know, and he's quite a bit of pro police content. So this is kind of a different take on the kind of shit that he normally makes. So it'd be interesting to see how this unfolds and what kind of information he provides us here.
Why do you think that throughout your career you have continued to be accused of excessive force?
I think I'm very proactive, and I think I'm involved in a lot more scenes and incidents. If you are proactive and you're hardworking, you are going to get more complaints.
That's some wild logic as a police officer. That's wild logic.
Taser!
He got me! He got me! He had me!
Sit down and shut the up! It's on video, retard. You're gonna lose your freedom because you get to go to jail today, mother.
I think his ego gets in the way of his own self, frankly.
Mr. Ferman has made it known that his goal is to tow 1,000 cars a year.
Hey, we're looking to talk to the chief or someone. We're in an active investigation right now.
Okay, give me a second, okay?
Thank you. Excuse me, sir. Could you come over here for a second?
Protect and serve. That's the job of police officers that patrol our communities. And for the cops that do it right, this is a tough occupation that requires a lot of balls. But recently, through my TikTok algorithm, it's been brought to my attention that a Michigan police officer seems to be doing the exact opposite of protect and serve.
Wow, is this your first time realizing that that happens? Made all this pro police content before you realize that maybe there's a few of them out here doing some fucked up shit?
This man's name is Matthew Ferman, and some of Ferman's arrest footage is so graphic that I'm concerned YouTube may not even let me show it to you. Currently, he is on paid leave for the back-to-back brutalizing of 2 citizens of Melvindale, a small town outside of Detroit with 12,000 people. This is a man that has a history of turning minor traffic stops into major beatdowns. He's been fired before, brought back, and even charged with assault, but for some reason, he is still a police officer. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We get the inside scoop from police officers who spent years working with him, and what we'll be revealing to you is a litany of corruption charges, disturbing violence, and a scheme he has that entails towing an obscene amount of cars, buying those cars from the police auction, and then flipping them to make money, allegedly. So
holy shit, that's genius. I can't believe a cop actually thought of that. Of towing cars just to buy them from the auction and flip them later. That's crazy. Imagine if he sold the car back to the person he towed it from. That'd be insane. But what a racket, dude. What a racket. I never would have even thought. Cops are getting creative with their corruption nowadays, huh? Interesting.
Seek to bring justice and awareness to the city of Melvindale by exposing the practices of this police officer, who some say is only on the job because of the amount of revenue that he brings to the city. We'll investigate that and much more.
Folks, I just wanted to talk to you before we get started on this video. In the past few weeks, we've gone after some really heavy-hitting people. We've gone after Kenneth Copeland, Scientology. We're doing multiple police and prison investigations. And what I'm doing is I'm recruiting you as part of the army to help build this independent media channel. I'm opening up a Patreon tier called Big Dog Soldier. For just $7 a month, you can help support this independent media group. The link is in my description. Please consider joining. And now, guys, to the video.
Let's take you up to speed on just a few incidents from Officer Ferman's violent history on the job. In 2019, Ferman was charged with assault and battery when he threw a man down a flight of stairs and claimed he fell. He got out of the assault charges by pleading guilty to a lesser crime. He once split a handcuffed man's head open on a police cruiser and claimed the guy did it to himself. But he did agree after the incident to attend anger management classes. You'll soon see the story of Jakar Williams, a man that Ferman pulled over for a minor traffic violation and proceeded to tase over a dozen times, even with a partner on the scene that had it under control.
He hurt me! He hurt me!
Before he initiated the first tase, it looks like that other officer already had him under control.
To get a fair read on Ferman's actions, I wanted to get a police officer's opinion. So I visited Chief Rivera of the East Chicago Police Department to get his take on this situation.
You shouldn't be tasing nobody 10 times. At that point, you should be going hands-on. You let your emotion take over, your anger. You take things personal. When that person doesn't even know you, it's the uniform that they're really arguing with. The officer's taking something personal. When it's really, it's not.
And if it wasn't enough to take...
Oh, is this the officer that... Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you for the context, Stimpy. I knew that John Bryan was doing some sort of series on a particular officer like this, but I did not know that that was this officer. Well, that makes sense. Again, I don't watch a lot of content from my peers in this space because we're both more so focused on finding the videos that we aren't covering from each other. So... So yeah, that makes a lot of sense now that I'm thinking about it.
Chased your car in front of two small children. Ferman also had to pull his girlfriend out of the car, telling her to
sit down and shut the up.
The passenger really had nothing to do with that traffic stop. You know?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, why would you pull the passenger out, handcuff them, and put them in your patrol car if it's a traffic violation or whatever? Even if the other guys acted crazy, that was totally uncalled for.
Of course, she's visibly upset because what she sees happening to her baby daddy or husband, boyfriend, wherever he is to her. But how she was treated? No, absolutely not. You want to detain her? Yeah, you can do that nicely. Pull her out, detain her, but now you got kids there and they're witnessing all this. And how do you justify that? Just because she's reporting you, she reported your actions because she's being loud, angry. You have to be able to empathize. What if that was you? How do you expect your wife or girlfriend to act?
This out-of-control behavior prompted Melvindale's own mayor, Nikki Shakira, to say that Ferman belongs behind a desk and also revealed that at least one of Ferman's colleagues would not respond.
Behind a desk? I think he belongs behind bars, looking at what we are seeing now.
To crime scenes with Ferman because of the risk that it would go south.
My priority is doing whatever I have to do to go home. And if that means somebody gets...
Who advised this guy to go on the news and defend himself? Because this is just the dumbest thing you could possibly do. There's no way that anything you're saying is going to be believed by anyone in the context of this body camera footage. I don't know who his attorney is or if his dumbass made this decision on his own, but that was stupid. Way to fuck yourself later.
Tasered? Somebody's getting tasered.
Finally, Alicia Cook. This woman was in a parking lot waiting to pick her kid up from practice, and apparently she made Ferman feel afraid for his life, so he tased her. And this is just a small sampling of stories that decorate Ferman's record as a police officer. For reference, Ferman was actually fired years ago over earlier allegations, but for reasons still unclear, he was brought back on the job.
Well, I can tell you what those reasons were. The fucking union he's a part of went to war to get his job back, and they basically put the city in a position where you can pay this man for forever, basically, and him not work for you, or you can just hire him back as a normal salary, or we can tie this all up in a lawsuit for years and years to come that you'll probably eventually lose and fucking have to pay out millions of dollars to the guy. So I get it. You know, we need to ban police unions. Police unions are doing nothing positive to help members of the public. They are at this point, their only function is essentially to help cops get away with misconduct. That's basically it.
Today's story, guys, we owe a big shout out to Detroit news channel WXYZ7 and their correspondent Ross Jones, who've done a fantastic job reporting on the allegations against Officer Ferman as well.
I'm going to take that a step further. and say that we probably need to ban a lot of fucking unions, maybe even all of them. Because at this point in society, almost every union has turned into a like a different version of government oversight. You know, they're not actually controlled by the people in 99% of cases. And although there are some situations where you could definitely benefit from being in a union, it's never a fair benefit. It's always the union eventually taking advantage of whatever they unionized against. So we need some common sense about how we are dictating these things. And I think unions oftentimes are not the solution. And sometimes they start as the solution, but I feel like they almost all inevitably become corrupted by power, just like the government. So anyway.
Most publications like the Detroit Free Press. Their Ferman investigations have proved foundational in helping us build this story, and they are linked in the description.
You're right. No, a corporate overlord is not better. But what I'm saying is there needs to be a compromising solution somewhere between what a union is getting done and what a corporation is allowed to do. If we had just had proper regulation, we wouldn't even need unions. You know, that's the whole point of the government. So yeah, I've seen far too many instances where unions just end up suffering from the same degree of misconduct and lack of credibility that our government suffers from now. And they almost always eventually end up becoming the problem that they were initially trying to stop.
I appreciate you coming to meet with me. Tell me a little bit about your experience with Melvindale Police.
It started off really well. It was a fun place to work. It's a good place to learn.
What is Ferman's rank right now?
He's a lieutenant there. He's been on paid leave for almost a year.
Is that unheard of?
In my experience, yes.
Wait a minute. He's been on paid leave for a whole year? This dude's been on a year-long vacation? That's fucking insane. That's another thing that states need to do is enact some kind of statutory limitation on how long an officer can receive unpaid leave. Or, because this is a taxpayer burden that we didn't have a say in whatsoever. But here we are being forced to pay for this fucking guy's year-long vacation because he fucked up. Insane.
Police can be used as revenue collectors for a city. Can you speak to that? This is Dan Adams. He's my friend and a bona fide criminal defense lawyer here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's seen firsthand how cops like Ferman are used to prey on citizens and taxpayers. Here's what he said.
I think it offends most people's feelings of fair play to have a police officer out collecting dues, as it were, from people just driving through their city, maybe going a couple miles per hour over the speed limit, not seeing that their car could be towed for profit to balance the budget of this small municipality. It just flies in the face of what we know as Americans to be the proper role of police and the criminal justice system.
Matthew Ferman is not a good police officer.
This is David Robinson. He served as a Detroit police officer for a few years before becoming an attorney. And he is the one representing Jakar Williams and Alicia Cook in a civil lawsuit against Matthew Ferman and the police department.
I think his ego gets in the way of his own self, frankly.
What's your impression of Officer Matthew Ferman?
I mean, this guy, Mr. Ferman, he's stomping on people's legs as 5 or 6 other cops have them apprehended. It doesn't make any sense. He doesn't seem like he's trying to enforce law and order. It seems like he's enforcing his personal...
That's just literal insanity right there. That was, I mean, shout out to them for already having an attorney and stuff, because I imagine this is going to be an absolutely crushing lawsuit once it actually gets geared up. I mean, this video is just abhorrent. I mean, I don't know how you can watch this and think that this was an appropriate use of force.
Ego and causing chaos.
He seems like a guy that actually goes into a situation and escalates it massively.
Yes. I am really curious to see what the
I love how they're acting like this is such an anomaly. You know, they're like, how could this be? How could we have an officer who acts like this? As if there aren't 100,000 Fermans out there in the country right now, you know, and a million other stories just like this woman's story here. There's really nothing novel about this, but they're just shocked and blown away. How could we have an officer like this? Well, hate to break it to you boys, but we got quite a few of them.
people in the residents of this area think about him, because it probably can't be good. And if they don't know about him, I mean, we should raise awareness and let people know what he's doing out here.
We appreciate good cops. Bad cops, though,
Yeah.
if the law of justice isn't going to take you, YouTube will.
Really, that's interesting considering how much content is pro-police versus anti-police on this channel.
Are you familiar with the story of Officer Matthew Ferman?
Oh, yeah.
What have you heard?
He uses excessive force. He's pretty brutal.
As officers tried to subdue the man, a Dearborn officer's body cam
Just how
caught
he's-
Freeman repeatedly stomping on the man's leg. As multiple officers look on.
Notice how the other officers here are completely calm. Like they know that the situation is already under control.
Yeah, look at this guy. He's just watching it happen. He's just like chilling, watching him stomp this guy's legs. Everyone here should be named in this lawsuit. They're this guy's looking, this guy's looking, this guy was watching, this guy's right next to him, can't deny not seeing it. This guy that we're looking through the body camera saw the whole thing. Yeah, where were the good cops here? That's a good point, Freeman.
Control. And it's clear they knew Ferman crossed the line, as one cop even warns him that the cameras are watching.
Cameras all around, guys.
Wow. Wow. That says a lot. That says a lot right there. That says all we need to fucking know about this police department. Cameras all around, guys. Jesus. This just goes, this is a testament to get yourself a dash camera, body camera, whatever. Just whenever you're interacting with the cops, try your fucking best to record it.
What's disturbing is no one steps in to stop the beatdown. And this highlights a bigger problem, which is some cops would rather cover for their buddy than protect the citizen they swore to serve.
Stomping on his legs. There's 5 cops already on him. Look at him stomping on his legs.
Bro, what?
And then the other officer ain't doing nothing.
They say
Cameras all around.
around.
Oh.
They weren't mad that he was doing it. They were mad he was doing it on camera.
That's my first time seeing it. Plenty of officers there to control that person. He was already on the ground. People can't control one person on the ground, and you have to stomp him like that. No, this says more about your training than that.
Yes, exactly. Shout out to Chief Rivera. That's it's so wild to hear a police chief talking like this. You know what I mean? And I wonder if he would have the same perspective on a video like this from his own department or something like that. But I give it to Chicago, though, because they do have one of the more developed systems for dealing with police misconduct that, you know, than most other cities. They have COPA, a civilian oversight board, which COPA really doesn't have a lot of power to do anything, but they can definitely be a difference maker when federal claims are made. So yeah, I guess I would expect this out of a department like that.
We just noticed a Melvindale police officer. How do we approach a police officer?
Probably on foot.
We're gonna make ourselves very visible. I'm gonna wave and then hopefully he comes out. It might be tough for you to answer some of these questions, but are you familiar with Matthew Ferman?
I just started working here not too long ago, so not really.
You can't say too much.
No.
I've heard rumors that other officers don't want to go on calls with him because they're afraid it's going to escalate.
This has been true for many years.
You do a very tough job, very difficult. You have to be brave to do what you do. Is there?
It's wild to me that this has been happening for many years. What does that say about the leadership in this department? that they allowed this to happen for many years, and that it was perpetuated amongst the employees and well known that no one wanted to work with this guy, and nothing was done about it from anyone in the hierarchy of this department. That's pretty insane.
Hard. If you're seeing a senior officer out of line, is it hard as a younger rookie cop to be like, hey, you can't really do that?
I'm a grown man, so if I see another grown man doing something wrong, I will tell him.
Wow. What a perspective to have as a police officer. It's interesting that he says that and he's a new officer, but does that mean that everyone standing around while this guy was getting his legs stomped in by this cop, were they men? Were they grown men? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that guy's a liar or if maybe he's just new to the department and hasn't been quite indoctrinated just yet. But yeah.
That's f***ed up. Somebody need to get him gone. He should be fired, prosecuted, and jailed, probably.
I wish I could say that it shocked me. I wish that I could say that wasn't what I've come to expect. That's what I've come to expect.
I wouldn't feel safe around that.
Yeah, he needs some type of criminal activity done to him. That's not okay.
He said that he was doing that for pain compliance. Is that a typical police protocol?
Not at all. If you were doing the same thing as Ferman did to that man on the ground, most police officers reacted, stopped you, and arrested you. Ferman had been on a traffic assignment. He pulls over Mr. Williams, immediately becomes aggressive, hollering, raising his voice, and then ultimately tasing him. In drive-stop mode, all unjustified. Again, it's excessive, and it wasn't necessary.
He was already in the other officer's hand. There was no need to taser him.
Yeah, not only was there no need to taser him, but I think it was actually counterproductive for him to taser that guy in that moment. Because it seems to me like it would have been a lot more productive and helpful in like detaining and restraining this guy to actually put your hands on him instead of just trying to do your little one-hand taser, get it in where you can. It seems like if you just fucking grabbed his ass and pulled him away from the car with your partner, that maybe two people could control one guy, and if you can't, then fuck, do something else with your life. What's up, CRNN? Good to have you back, brother.
Tasers are intended to be used as a defensive weapon. Unfortunately, for some time, there was a misconception within law enforcement that they could be used as instruments of compliance.
He couldn't even defend himself.
Do you think an officer like this should be allowed to work the streets?
No.
Do you have a message for the Melvindale Police Department?
I'll be calling in, reporting on y'all.
They're supposed to protect and serve, and that's inhumane. To fund them, to pay to fund everything that they're for, to pay to, to get them.
It's us, the taxpayers.
Exactly. He should be gone.
If you had a message to the mayor and chief of police about Matthew Ferman, what would you say?
Get rid of him as soon as possible. He's a liability for the city.
What I would like to see is accountability. It's as simple as that.
Shout out to all those. That's exactly what we need. It's just so insane to me that this cop is blatantly harming people in a physical way. And it has taken over a year to get rid of him. That says a lot about the overall status and nature of accountability in policing. I mean, they can literally beat the shit out of somebody in a completely uncalled for, unlawful, unacceptable way. And he's still not fired. He's still technically an employee where he should be a prisoner. I'm Ferman, guilty. Send him to Singapore. Don't give him any gum.
So now we cover another key point of the Matthew Ferman saga. We cover the story of...
My goodness, it was... are you kidding me? Stimpy? He was first charged in 2019. This has been 6 years. 6 years of them knowing damn well that this motherfucker is a piece of shit.
Alicia Cook. Just a few months ago, in this very parking lot, she was waiting to pick her daughter up from cheerleading practice when Ferman came into the parking lot.
In Melvindale Police Department, I'm our traffic enforcement officer. Hey, you're on a traffic stop. Don't tell me 1 second.
Hold on, sir.
I'm giving you a lawful police order. It's a public access parking lot.
He wanted me to think like that.
Lieutenant Ferman demands Cook's driver's license, which she refuses to provide. Watch what happens next.
Does anyone know what the fuck this traffic stop was about? I mean, she looks parked. If she was just parked in a public parking lot, what moving in violation could she have done? This is ridiculous.
Lieutenant Ferman draws his taser and fires.
You're gonna be tasered! Help out!
Ferman says he used the taser because he was in fear of his life.
You made me afraid for my safety. I was
Oh my
terrified for
God.
you. You terrified me. You scared me.
What a fucking pussy. What a giant fucking vagina. Are you kidding me? Hold on, I gotta type a text real quick. What a big scaredy boy. Let's just hear him say that again, because this is embarrassing. And this should be the hallmark of what you remember this guy for. Not just him beating the shit out of innocent people, but the fact that he is afraid of harmless women.
I was terrified for you. You terrified me. You scared me.
You scared me. God, please, please get rid of this guy.
You scared me.
From a woman sitting down in a car with her kids in the back. Either this guy is such a big pussy that he truly was afraid for his life, or he used that as a way to use his power on this woman. Now, did she handle the situation the best? No. But an officer's job is to de-escalate and keep people safe. And when you hear the screams of terror of her kids watching their mom get brutalized by a cop, to me, it's just a disturbing and unbelievable scene to have to witness. Guys, I want to draw your attention to the movement you see in the back seat here. This is a child in a terrified frenzy as they watch their mom get tased during what should be a minor traffic stop. And for the parents out there, I want you to imagine your own kid having to witness something like this.
Man, this kind of cop is the reason that James Freeman thinks the way he does. You know what I mean? This kind of policing is what perpetuates sovereign citizen ideology, the ACAB movement, all of the formal organizations that have been levied or designed to counteract policing. This is the kind of officer that James talks about when he says the radical things that he says. And I'm using James as a shield right now because I want to say those things about him too right now. To be completely honest with you, this guy is a fucking piece of shit beyond just being in a law enforcement capacity.
From what you can see,
I'm surprised that no one has done anything about that.
This guy have the temperament to be a police officer.
No, he shouldn't. Any agency that hires a person with that type of temper, you're setting yourself up for liability problems.
All right, folks, I'm here at a key landmark in this Matthew Ferman story. We're here at Schaefer Road. Ferman would park his police car and look for people that he could tow. And this brings us to another one of the major allegations against Officer Ferman, that he uses towing and impounding as a weapon against Melvindale citizens in an effort to increase the revenue for the city of Melvindale. Just take it from a former colleague of his who has come out as a whistleblower. What is the inside scoop on the towing in Melvindale?
Mr. Ferman has made it known that his goal is to tow 1,000 cars a year.
What is a typical officer doing a year?
30 to 50 cars.
And he towed more cars than any police officer in Melvindale by far. So
that's truly disturbing. because you know that these tows are perpetuated on people who already can't afford that, you know, and it's most likely the fact that I would say that I'm sure that if you were to look at all the cars that he towed, that he knew that these people wouldn't be able to afford to get them out of the tow yard. And that's probably where he got the idea for this whole, well, I can pull over people I know can't pay to get their car back so that I can then go and buy it. Really fucked up.
Even the former police chief of Melvindale, Chad Hayes, said that Ferman was an instrument of revenue collection for the city. And the reason guys like him are still employed is because the $1 million deficit in Melvindale, they try and get guys like Ferman to make up by, you drive by, I'm gonna pull you over, I'm gonna look for a reason to tow your car, and that's that. What I want my police force in my city to do, I want you looking for the killers. I want you looking for the rapists. I want you looking for the people that do things to children. I want you looking for serious shit. You're not on my tax dollar giving people tickets and towing their car for nonsense. These are people that need to go to work.
Are we witnessing a turn in the arc of Tommy G's content here? Is that what's going on? Are we watching his real-time awakening to the reality of law enforcement in America?
They need to do deliveries. They need to make their life go around, and a car is a key thing. And for so many people struggling in today's economy, a $300 or $400 tow fee to get their car back, the time that they have to take off work, do they get fired? Does their boss get pissed? How do they find the extra $400? Maybe it was just the first of the month, they just paid rent. It's a huge economic stressor in a time when people are already stressed. Just down the road here is actually the tow truck company that Ferman is in cahoots with. We're gonna pay them a visit. I get it. You wanna have a certain standard of where you live that's not infested with crime. On the other hand, the danger side of it is like the lawyers that we talked to earlier were saying, there can be racial profiling, or there can be over-aggression. A lot of
I just can't get over the fact that it sounds like he's just figuring all this out for the first time. It's kind of funny. And especially considering that he's been surrounded by police officers in many other videos that are actually longer and more thorough than this one. Yeah, that's interesting.
I've had these experiences where we are guilty from the beginning. I remember having an experience as a little kid. I was probably 16. I was walking my friend home from her work, and the police officer pulled over on the wrong side of the road, shining flashlights in our face. Like, there's robbery suspects that match your profile. I wasn't robbing anything. It left me with a very nasty feeling of, what the hell was that? You're supposed to protect me and serve the community, but you're treating me like I'm a criminal without knowing anything. That's what people really detest about cops like Ferman. They have this authority complex where I'm the goddamn police. You listen to me, retard. It's on video, retard. And that's unacceptable. You want a cop that's going to show up to the scene and be calm, be in charge, and de-escalate. So we're going to talk to the people in this town and see what they think about.
Man, I got some videos for Tommy G to take a look at if this is unacceptable for him. And this cop didn't even kill anyone, as far as I know. Like, think about all the ones who actually take people's lives. My point is that, yeah, we should be definitely calling out cops like Ferman and making content about them, but dude, this is the tip of the iceberg, you know?
It seemed like there's multiple instances where he really loses his temper. He doesn't really keep his emotions in check on the job. Can you speak to that?
Well, you see it over and over again. Matthew Ferman has been the subject of many lawsuits.
Do you know roughly how many lawsuits he's been involved in over his career?
3.
And for a police officer, is that typical, or does he definitely represent a higher amount?
He definitely represents a higher amount.
It's impossible to bring up Matthew Ferman without mentioning his towing. According to this Detroit Free Press article, Ferman was responsible for 80% of the tows done in Melvindale in 2015.
That alone should raise some very serious red flags for not only the leadership in that department, but the mayor and city council. I mean, 80% of all tows in 2015 and 16, 8 cars in a day. That's literally insane. Why? I wonder why they blocked out this number here of how much money he generated from that per year. But wow. 80% of all the city's tows in 1 year came from one officer. Someone needed to look into that. So again, the onus is not just on this officer. That where were the mechanisms of accountability for this type of discrepancy?
15, towing up to 8 cars a day and making the city close to $500,000.
Okay, there now we know why.
We're here at the scene of Gotch and Sons, which the former police chief says is one of the key players in the Matthew Ferman towing operation. Have you heard of Melvindale police officer Matthew Ferman? He tows a lot of people in the city right here, and then he goes boating with the owner of this on the weekends, and people are like, come on, why is that happening in my car all the time?
Allegedly.
Have you heard anything like that?
No.
When you are paying tax dollars and that's going to police that are being overly abusive to people and charging them with as many tickets as they can, what do you think about that as a citizen?
I think that's wrong.
You heard that right. Ferman socializes regularly with Mike Gotch, the owner of this towing company, going to his Christmas party, going boating, going to baseball games, and even going to dinner at his house, leaving some to wonder how ethical this relationship truly is.
There's a Melvindale police officer named Matthew Ferman. Have you heard of him?
I have on TikTok. I just heard about what he did and like what happened with him. Like,
did you see any of his behavior, like the tasing, the stomping, or what he said to people?
I saw the tasing, but I didn't see the stomping or the.
Police officer tases someone 12 times. Do you think that's excessive?
That's actually very excessive. It sucks. So 12 times, like, that's just crazy.
How much is the toll fee here? Do you know?
$5.75 cash.
$5.75 cash.
6% fee if you use card. They be cracking here. Don't come to Detroit.
Would you know that?
Are you kidding me? A $575 tow fee? That is robbery. That is literal robbery. And there is no one who's getting their car towed that can legitimately afford to pay that. That is absolutely insane. And this is just straight up sanctioned robbery at this point.
The citizens of Melvindale were paying half what they pay now when the previous vendor was towing cars.
They upped the rates on them?
Oh, significantly. And they gave the city a portion of that commission. Is that a conflict of interest, you think?
That seems like there might be a little bit of a conflict of interest. And who loses out the most in that situation?
The citizen.
The taxpayer.
The taxpayers. Would you be surprised if you heard Mr. Mike Gotch, the founder of this company, was taking Ferman and other officers out to Detroit Tiger games on his boat, kind of courting them before they even got a contract?
Allegedly.
It's not funny.
I'd like to see the evidence for that. I don't know, like where, maybe John has talked about that in his coverage. But then again, this is like why I say that Tommy G's doesn't have a whole lot of journalistic rigor. I give him a lot of props for going to these places and doing the interviews and stuff. But I think part of the equation when you're doing journalism, and probably the bigger variable, is showing your receipts and providing an indisputable record of whatever event you happen to be covering. That's the main mission. This feels a lot more like modern day journalism, where it's less about the facts and more about the commentary, and it sort of blurs the line between entertainment and journalism. But again, I have, I guess, more of a traditional perspective on journalism, and I'm a little bit biased when it comes to this because I am a credentialed journalist, whatever that means. I went to school for it. And I hate the direction that media is going with this, like it's like infotainment kind of shows. And it doesn't really contribute in a meaningful way to the broader issues that they're actually discussing. So yeah, it's more of cultural documentation. That's a fair characterization, I would say.
It's so messed up, but they're going on boating trips.
The average cop, guess how many cars do you think they tow a year in Melvindale?
A year? I would think like 40, 50?
Closer to 30.
30, okay, even less.
To go and try and do over 30 times that and state that openly in the department with Mr. Matthew Ferman,
That is outrageous.
I mean, does he think he's being a public servant by towing more cars and taking more money out of people's pockets?
Well, when you put yourself in a circumstance where you want to meet a quota, you go out looking for ways to meet that quota. And so people on the margin, people on the bubble, people who may not deserve that type of treatment are going to get the bull's horns. Again, if you're looking for people who are jaywalking, we can find jaywalkers all day. If we want to find speeders, we can find speeders all day. When you have a financial incentive behind that, turns the criminal justice system on its head.
Yeah, and it makes not only that, but the liability that comes out of that type of enforcement is literally insane. I can't believe that this guy towed 1,000 cars in a year and none of those people challenged the legality of those tows. Or, I mean, just, I imagine that you could probably FOIA request a random day and time of Officer Ferman's body camera and catch some sort of constitutional violation. So yeah, you're right, Thomas. This adds a lot of credence to the notion that he was targeting people who are particularly financially vulnerable, because obviously those are probably the people that can't afford to get their car out, much less afford to hire an attorney. And plus they're having to deal with all of the fines and fees that come with the actual charges that they were charged with. So, I mean, it's just on every level an attack on poor people.
Which is, we're supposed to be protecting and serving people, making the community safer. But when you're just looking for revenue from different sources, you're going to misallocate your resources in criminal justice.
Depending on the locale, it can take anywhere from 30 to 90 days for your car to go from the impound lot to the police auction. This is one form of civil forfeiture where the government, even without convicting you of a crime, can sell off your seat.
God, we should do a whole stream about civil asset forfeiture, because man, this is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to civil asset forfeiture. There have been some instances where you wouldn't believe how the asset forfeiture doctrine has been used to literally steal from people in massive ways. We'll talk about that at some point. It deserves an episode all on its own, because civil asset forfeiture is one of the most fucked up aspects of our legal system that we have today, especially when we're in the context of, law enforcement.
Property. And it's tough to get exact numbers on the scale of this, but one major player in the police auction world, Apple.
Yo, Tibby, shout out. Wanted to say I really appreciate your work, brother. Enjoying watching ATA. However, yeah. The voicing reminds you of the narration for Dukes of Hazzard. Shout out to Andrew Baldwin. He is the narrator for ATA, and he has a great voice for sure. And this current channel. Anyway, keep rocking. Sign a book for me. I would be happy to sign a book for you. I'm actually going to be ordering some more author copies pretty soon, and I'm probably going to order like 40 or 50 of them, hopefully, so that I can have them on deck to be given away on stream or whatever we decide to do with them. Yeah, but shout out to you, Tibby. Thank you, man, for the $25. That means a lot. That money is going straight to my campaign funds when I run for president, after I finish my judgeship. I don't know. What do you call the tenure of a judge? There's got to be a word for that.
Auctioneering proudly claimed on their website that since 2010, they've facilitated the sale of over 70,000 vehicles, generating $380 million in revenue, all of which goes back to the police.
Ferman makes a lot of money for the city with the towing. What about for his ticketing?
With the tows
judgeship
comes tickets. You can't impound a vehicle without issuing some sort of citation, because the impound has to come from some sort of traffic offense. With the traffic offense comes a ticket. With the ticket comes a fee, and the city gets part of that. He should lose his badge. He doesn't serve the citizens. He serves himself.
So we follow the breadcrumbs, and this is the lot where their cars get brought to, and guess what? If they can't pay it out of the other lot we just saw, they get stuck here to where the police auction happens right here.
Mr. Ferman would...
Yo, shout out Fred. I really like your work. I'm in since the beginning of ATA. That's what's up, man. Well, get in now while you can on the beginning of a new venture. And I'll bring this back up one more time for you guys in case anyone has missed it. But Audit the Court is officially up and running. So if you enjoy ATA or any of the content that you consume here, I'm sure you'll enjoy that channel as well. It is pinned in the chat at the very top of the chat. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It's brand new, just came out today, very first day. So if you could support that, that would mean a lot. But let's get back to this video. We'll wrap it up.
Buy the cars that he had impounded himself. He often would impound cars that would have no insurance. And often the subjects couldn't afford the insurance. So then when...
That's fair, Bill. ATC makes me think of that too. There was a while there where I was really thinking about getting my pilot's license. So I was really into a lot of aviation related stuff. And I ultimately didn't do it. But yeah, it does make me think of air traffic.
They couldn't afford to pay the impound fees. The car would go to auction for the city. Ferman would then go bid on and purchase those cars and sell them for profit for himself. Goes further than that. It has since come out that he would break into the city impound lot and damage the vehicles by breaking a window or flattening a tire, pulling out the radio, so that way he could bid on them for...
Oh my God, man. This guy really took it so far with this racketeering scheme that he had going on. I can't believe that. Wow. Man, he really thought of just every shitty thing he could possibly do. This guy, it blows my mind that he had enough time on his hands to impound 1,000 cars a year and still come up with all these like really intricate schemes for stealing from taxpayers. This guy is fucked. This guy is so fucked. Yeah, Rico is right. And I guarantee you that the FBI is going to be looking into this for sure. This ain't over, especially for years and years of it. The FBI needs to be looking into this entire police department, to be honest.
A lower price and make more money.
Was also his girlfriend involved in this?
His girlfriend was the source of that information.
His ex-girlfriend?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me I'm a single mother. I get my car towed. I'm struggling to get it back. They will actually sell my car in the meantime if I can't come up with the funds.
Correct.
How long?
And then the city gets that money.
Not only that, not only are they selling your car after a certain period of time, but every day after a certain period that you don't come pick it up, that $575 turns into $700, $800, $900. Every day you don't pick up your car all the way to that 30 days until they eventually take ownership, or whatever the period of days is more money that you have to pay to get your car back. This whole thing is just very scammy. So it's not just the $575 flat fee. Most people don't even, it takes them days to figure out where their fucking car even is. So imagine you get arrested on a Friday. They tow your car. You don't even get out of jail till Monday. It's already been sitting in the lot for 2 or 3 days. Then you figure out where your car is on Wednesday. Now it's almost been a week. And that's, you've already doubled the cost of what it would have been. It's absolutely insane.
And the police officer that you paid with your tax money gets to do that to you. Yeah.
Wait, how long do I have to get the car back out of the impound lot?
That is something that we would have to investigate. I would guess 90 days. We have inside information that Matthew Ferman actually comes to these auctions, bids on cars that he personally has had towed. He buys them and then he flips them for a profit.
Man, yo, shout out to you, Opie. Maybe for a few cars, but it was the kickbacks. Yeah, I'm sure that he got something out of that beyond just getting to do this whole scheme that he cooked up. This is really interesting to me though, because I have a lot of background that sort of crosses over with this, because I think I told you guys before that I have my dealer's license. And I frequently buy and sell cars. I haven't done it as much in recent years, but there was a point in time where that was my main source of income, was flipping cars. And so I understand how this could work, and how truly deplorable your thinking has to be to come up with a scheme like this. It is, yeah, it's purely evil genius. That's right, Electric. I think it's very clever, but also very fucked up and immoral and just insane to do to people. But oh man, I could see this being done in a lot of other places at a smaller scale, probably not as brazenly. No, this is something I never thought of, and you would think I would with the crossover and knowledge that I have about these two particular subjects. But man, I guess I'm just not deplorable enough to come up with schemes like that.
Allegedly.
Does that seem like that would
Brother.
be not allowed within the job description to do?
That is like super piece of shit territory. Yeah, that should be 100% illegal.
So I'm going to meet Brandon here at this Melvindale Police Department, and we're going to keep pursuing our investigation. Hey, we're looking to talk to the chief or someone. We're in an active investigation right now.
Okay, give me a second, okay?
Thank you.
I think it's funny for him to characterize his YouTube video as an active investigation right now. But hey, she got the fuck up, and she's going to get the chief, I guess.
Excuse me, sir. Could you come over here for a second? We're just in the middle of an active investigation. Have you seen one of your associates is known for potential criminal activity? We want to know if you guys have seen him.
Yeah, we got a few questions for you, sir.
Okay, in the meantime, it's just important you guys kind of comply with some of these questions. Matthew Ferman, have you guys seen him?
I think it's funny that, okay, I get it now. He's flipping the script on them and basically telling them he's investigating them. Yeah, he's pulling a James Freeman. That's a good way to characterize this. He's pulling a James Freeman right now.
You're not really answering our questions directly. Are you withholding or hiding any information?
Would you mind stepping out here, sir, please? Oh, right there. Towed vehicles. And there's nothing that makes me feel safer in my community than if my car gets towed.
Because we don't want the people that go to work on time or take their kids to soccer practice. That is a threat to security.
We're looking for our deputy chief.
Yes, sir.
This is such an interesting thing to hear from him.
Yes, sir.
Just went to the lab just a few minutes. You guys just missed me by.
Yeah, would you mind stepping out and speaking with us, sir?
We have an active investigation we'd like you to be compliant in.
Okay. What is this about?
A known associate of this department.
Are you here for Lieutenant Ferman? Because if that's the case, I'll have to tell you that it is currently being investigated by an outside agency.
Yes, sir.
So it's kind of not in our hands.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to comment.
Absolutely. We have broader questions as well. Would you mind stepping out behind the glass, please?
I would rather not right now.
Well, we've actually submitted FOIA requests here and they've been blocked.
That's not something I look at. That's usually the chief, the deputy chief.
We've had a lot of trouble FOIA requesting this police department.
That's against the law.
Well, it's not against the law if there's an open investigation. They're not going to release body camera footage during an investigation. And honestly, I don't think they should, because, well, they should in a limited capacity. Of course, if they should offer the body camera footage to the other individuals involved in the body camera footage. But I do agree that it certainly can corrupt the investigation if they're just constantly releasing, if they're showing all their cards, basically. And if the officer has time to see the footage, then he's going to be, and his attorneys too, during the investigative phase. During that whole phase, what he's going to be doing is building a case against the case that they're building. So it is better, I think, to not let it, I think it would ultimately lead to more accountability to not necessarily release the footage to the public immediately. Now, I do think that they should release it eventually, and that these internal investigations shouldn't be being used as a means of simply denying the footage to the public, which is often the case. You know, there's no denying that. But there's also no denying the fact that in some scenarios, especially ones like this, where there's going to be probably many different investigations and ultimately there are lawsuits involved, it might be in the department's best interest to actually get rid of this guy instead of being forced to rehire him through their union, to build the best investigation they possibly can against this guy. And just like what I was saying earlier about it could harm your case to release footage publicly involving you and your interactions with law enforcement, that same thing applies for departments as well. So it's just, I understand it, but it shouldn't be taken 6 months or a year. That's right, Stimpy. That is the real problem, is that why do internal investigations, especially from outside agencies who are, you know, treating this like they would any other investigation, take so long? And maybe there should be a reasonable compromise here where after so long of investigation, you just have to release the footage. If there's nothing else that you can glean from the footage that would help your investigation, then you should just release it. But the point I'm trying to make here is that a lot of people seem to think that just withholding information during an internal investigation is some malicious act, when in fact it could be just the most prudent thing to do. Is where I'm going with that.
Folks, it has been said that Matthew Ferman has a mountain of citizen complaints and write-ups in his personnel file. The problem is we have encountered a blockage of our lawful FOIA request. You see, FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act, and it was passed in an effort to provide citizens with transparency in a timely fashion based on the idea that government transparency is essential for democracy. However, the city clerk of Melvindale doesn't seem to think so. They have a duty to provide the documents within 10 days of their request, and currently we are sitting at more than 30 days without receiving anything. In fact, they said that they can't provide us with documents because of an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, and I mean, he's acting like this is like weird or malicious, but this is what you would get during literally any internal investigation. That's how it works. And yeah, there's nothing weird or particularly disturbing about that, is what I'm getting at. This right here is kind of just being a little bit overblown. And again, this is like where we depart from the journalistic rigor, you know, and kind of venture into the infotainment sector of this style of content.
Which leads me to this. Folks, it would be a shame for Melvindale if I happen to have a video linked in my description where my guy Keegan shows you in 2 minutes how to submit your own FOIA request. And perhaps once Melvindale sees an avalanche of requests, they might understand how serious we the people are taking the allegations against Officer Matthew Ferman. We've had a lot of our FOIA requests blocked by the city of Melvindale, which isn't really legal. It's not legal at all.
See, that characterization, it is, you know, it's not illegal for them to block a public records request that is under a pending investigation. And almost every state's open or sunshine laws include a specific exception for when, you know, these types of body camera footages can be withheld. So it's not illegal. I highly doubt that it's illegal. I haven't looked into the particular sunshine statutes of this state, but I highly doubt that that's illegal.
What do you think about that?
It's hard to say why they would do that. I don't know. The whole point of FOIA is to avoid that.
I have a question. If you were to pull someone over and tell them to put their hands on the hood of a vehicle, and then you were to tell them to put their hands behind their back, how long do they have before it's in your right to tase them between those commands?
That's all subjective, sir.
So it could be 1 second?
Like a straight up answer to that. That all depends on subject's behavior. Each situation is different.
You're not being very compliant with our questions. And
I don't know if compliance is the right word here, because I am answering your question to the best of my abilities. And right now I am on duty. I have other things to attend to, so trying my best.
My impression is you seem like a good guy, fair guy. I don't know if you're cut from the same cloth as Ferman. All the questions I probably want to ask you, you probably can't answer on camera, right?
Right now, at this moment, because it is being investigated, I am not able to. All right.
Thank
It wouldn't even be on camera. He cannot answer any of your questions on or off camera at all about a pending investigation. And it would be very dumb for him to do that, not just for the liability of the department, but for the efficacy of the actual investigation. You could very well corrupt that, you know, by just giving out information to random people with cameras, you know?
Yes, sir.
Some people wonder if more could have been done on the front end to prevent people like Ferman from ever becoming a police officer. And surprisingly, the answer is yes. You see, we uncovered documents that show Ferman was arrested in 2004 for soliciting a prostitute. And we have inside information from the man that hired him that Ferman did not.
What? They knew this before hiring him? This is just, I mean, at what point is this even Ferman's fault anymore? I mean, the hierarchy and leadership in this department is so terrible at maintaining any degree of accountability or transparency even, that and handling internal issues just at all. Like, how has this been going on for almost 10 years? And we're not looking at the rest of the department. Like, I get that, you know, Ferman is the guy who did the shit, but I mean, aren't we supposed to have reasonable reasonable protocols put in place to prevent officers from being on the force like this? I mean, like I said, at what point is this just Ferman? I mean, this is the entire department at this point. And I wish that there was a little more said about that. Maybe we're not done with the videos, but so maybe there is. But yo, Domineer, my man. Oh, we're almost at 3,000 subscribers on Audit the Court. That's cool. First day. That's what's up. I wonder how long it's going to take that channel to get monetized. And then because I don't know if you guys know this, but if your channel's not monetized, they do not put your shit in the algorithm like they would any other video. So it's almost like your channel doesn't even really begin until you get monetized, because then they actually have an incentive to put your content into the algorithm. So it'll be interesting to see how all that unfolds, but that's what's up. We got 3K on there already. That's really cool. Thank you guys. I mean, shout out to you guys for making that happen. And thanks, Domineer, for the donation.
Disclose this in his background questionnaire, something that if he was honest about during the hiring process, he would have never been made a police officer in the first place.
There's rumor that the ex-police chief, Chad Hayes, was forced out instead of firing Ferman. Is that accurate, you think?
I know that that's accurate. When Mr. Ferman screwed up numerous times, Chief Hayes was seeking Mr. Ferman's termination from the department. Chief Hayes was going through the proper channels, the proper procedures through the department, and had suspended Ferman to lead up to a hearing for his termination. In that time, the tows dropped drastically. The city used public funds to hire an outside investigator to investigate the department because of the lack of tows coming in.
What? Okay, so they brought in a third-party agency to investigate the lack of tows rather than the abundance of tows that were coming from one particular. Again, here we are right back to the implication being on the city and the department, even more so than Ferman. I mean, like I said, Ferman is the perpetrator, but the entire infrastructure of leadership behind him are the ones who allowed all of this to happen. They're the conspirators. They're the ones behind the scenes. They're the people who were in charge of making sure this didn't happen. And they fucking investigated where their money was going. Oh, and this chief, I have a feeling they're about to say that he was pushed out because of the lack in revenue that was coming out of the department. So this looks like it's going back to the city leadership a lot more than the department. But still, I mean, you can't write the department off. I mean, literally insane.
multiple officers tried telling the city not to waste the taxpayers' money on that investigation. Everyone at the department could tell them in one sentence why the tows were down. Ferman wasn't working. While Mr. Ferman was suspended, the city council moved to fire Chief Hayes. At that point, it was clear to everyone that it was either Ferman or Hayes that was going to go.
Absolutely disgusting. This city is fucked. This city is absolutely fucked. I mean, I hope that they personally name every member of the city council, every member of or the mayor's office, all the people that were supposed to be in an accountability capacity. They did the exact opposite of what they should have done in that situation. This is, again, I just hope that the appropriate people are named in this lawsuit.
We just talked a little off camera to that lieutenant, I believe. He had the stripes.
Lieutenant
Seemed like a
Rahman.
good guy.
Yeah.
And we said, we're sure you're a good guy, and we know that he can't answer a lot of what we're asking him. It's a tough situation because he probably doesn't like Ferman either, honestly.
And I'm sure his position, he's not really like his job to fire the guy or get him in trouble. He probably can't do anything about it.
Right now, for us, he was a pinata that honestly probably didn't deserve the beating we were trying to give him.
Yeah.
Would you guess that if we had full access?
The beating. Yeah, that was a brutal line of questioning there. They really got his ass.
That's to Ferman's body cam, that what we've seen on the news is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
Does he regularly brutalize people?
To some extent, yes. He's verbally abusive often.
He currently has 2 pending lawsuits. He has been fired previously in 2019. He's been charged with assault while on the job. Do you think this will be enough to finally end his career?
It should end his career. The administration hasn't done what the administration should do to get rid of him. Bottom line.
If you follow what the police are saying, things should go okay. And I think most of the news stories we hear about are when people don't listen and they escalate. And then
You hear that? You hear the sentiments coming in? I encourage you to go watch more of Tommy G's content, because what he's saying here is generally the tone that exists in his journalism and coverage of law enforcement. So just listen to that.
Bottom line.
if you follow what the police are saying, things should go okay. And I think most of the news stories we hear about are when people don't listen and they escalate, and then the police escalate and then it turns really bad. What if you are dealing with a police officer that cannot control his temper, and you're in it feels like a life or death situation? If you're getting tased 12 times, your flight or fight's going to be triggered. If your legs are getting stopped to the point where you think your bones might break, that's a life or death situation.
Yeah.
And your only option is to further submit and hope it stops rather than get up and fight. That would be a terrifying position to be in.
Once your trust of the police is shattered, how can they even regain it at that point? You know what I mean?
Because it's like a person that's been broken up with a crazy girl. Like, it kind of, the future relationships are much harder to have because that one person ruined what you think is a normal relationship.
It traumatized.
I think, I'll say this, that I think, you know, the reason that he's characterizing this way, the one bad apple theory, is because he planned, you know, you guys got to keep in mind that this man has built a career on doing this kind of stuff and reporting and talking about law enforcement and working with them. And I'm sure that he has a drawing board with lots of video ideas for YouTube, and many of them probably involve the police departments, you know, so it can't, you know, sorry, I got distracted. I like John, but he's so naive sometimes. What am I being naive about? Please enlighten me. But my point is that there's definitely going to be some motivation. You know, we were talking about the other day about alternative media and whether or not you can trust the opinions that you get from individuals like this who are involved in, like myself even, who are involved in alternative sources of media. And you got to just keep in mind that people are going to preserve their career before they dedicate themselves to, finding the objective truth about things. That's most people's motive anyway.
A bad officer like Ferman did a lot of damage to your reputation. There could be 9 really good cops out on the field, and if there's one guy like Ferman, people generalize and stereotype the rest of the force as dirty.
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
You make us look bad. You make our job harder. You make the citizens not trust us. And the truth is, there's bad officers everywhere. Whether it just be through the end of their career or whatever the reason may be. But when you are able to identify one, the answer should be simple. I don't believe I'll ever have the answers as to why he is still employed. Part of me doesn't want to know because, as I stated earlier, I think it would make me sick.
Matthew Ferman, I will give you the same offer that I gave Lewis Lacey in Dalton, Illinois, which is you can meet me at any MMA gym in Wisconsin or Michigan or Illinois of your choice. I will give you $5,000 if you show up. If you win the fight, you keep the $5,000. If I win the fight, free. So no risk situation for you except for what I would do to you physically, which would be more immense than you've ever experienced in your life. You're used to beating up people in handcuffs. You're used to tasing moms that are sitting in the car. How about you fucking step up like a real man? You are a little pussy. You are a little bully. And I know in a million years you would never accept a cage fight with me.
Well, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. I like that. I mean, I like that offer. Because this is a situation where it's a bully. And how do you handle bullies? You bully them. I respect it. Shout out to Tommy G for that. I'd love it if Ferman would take up that offer, but of course we wouldn't. He would never do that. Because we all know what the caliber of man we're dealing with here. When it comes to this. And I can't speak on whether or not Tommy actually means this. I don't know his character. But yeah, fuck yeah. This is a great way to wrap up the video.
Fuck you. I've been joined in this investigation by my dear friend Brandon Buckingham. Click his link in description, blow him up, look through all his stuff. He has very bingeable content. One of the best guys in the game, and my dear pal. Love you, man.
Thank you so much for having me. Dude, you're doing a really great service with this video. I think that this guy needs to be fired.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Matthew Ferman, don't be a bitch. Take me up on my offer. Peace.
As Ferman's career remains in limbo and taxpayers continue to foot the bill of keeping him on paid leave that has stretched for over a year now, we conclude this episode by posing a question.
He looks like just such a fucking bitch boy, doesn't he? I want to extend that offer to his ass too. Fucking look at him. Just look at him. The whole picture is just like, he looks like a failed cast member of Jersey Shore. He looks like he almost would have been on Jersey Shore if he wasn't such a fucking crybaby loser.
Question to the people responsible for keeping Ferman on the force. Melvin.
That would have been so fucking hilarious if that actually happened.
Ferndale City Council, the mayor, Nikki Scry, and city attorney, Larry Coogan. How many more citizens need to be brutalized before you make the choice to prioritize people over revenue? And with the expensive lawsuits piling up around Ferman, one that Melvindale's taxpayers will have to foot the bill on, isn't this guy much more of a liability than an asset on a balance sheet? Folks, work your magic with the FOIA requests. We appreciate you joining, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I'll just say you could probably send 10,000 FOIA requests and they're going to deny all of them because they have the lawful authority to do that. That's just the nature of the body camera system that we have, the FOIA public records request system that we have. And again, like I said earlier, it's not necessarily a fault. It is by design, and sometimes it makes sense for it to be. All right, I got to take off this fucking wig. Oh my God, this thing is driving me fucking crazy. Jesus. gosh. I feel like I lifted a 10-pound weight off my head. Good Lord. There we go. Feel a lot better now. Well, fuck Ferman. Big time fuck Ferman. We should start a hashtag called fuck Ferman. Shout out. Yeah, I kept it on way longer than I thought I would too, honestly. Shout out to John Bryan for covering that. Also, I'm sure that's probably what inspired Tommy's video. And yeah, surprise, surprise, I'm not a real judge, you guys. Yeah, my powers have been relinquished temporarily. I'm giving up the judgeship. Next is my bid for presidency, so stick around for that one. Be sure that you donate to my campaign funds. This is going to be a grassroots movement, so I need all the help I can get. I mean, we're up against the whole system here, you know. You consider all that legal advice? It's probably terrible legal advice. When am I doing an interview with John Bryan? I don't know. I still haven't reached out to him yet. I knew he was on vacation. I didn't want to bug him while he was doing his thing. I know how fucking annoying that can be. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that I'll end up collaborating with him in some capacity at some point in the future when both of us can make it work. Yeah, I took off the disguise. It's me, guys. It's just regular John Lang, not the dishonorable version. All right, once again, I would like to ask, you know, in case you didn't hear me at some point in the stream, to go check out Audit the Court. Let's try to get that up to 3K legitimately. That would be awesome. Thank you all for your continued support and for joining these live streams and give us a real audit. It can go hand in hand with the lawsuit. Yeah, you know, I very well at some point in the future may do some First Amendment audits. And the idea that I have behind that is to do a video that shows you how I would do an audit. Basically, like, how do you do an audit and get an A on Audit the Audit? And I understand that probably doesn't matter to a lot of people. You know, I'm not trying to make a video that is the ultimate authority on how to conduct an audit. That's why I'm kind of clarifying by saying that I would rather make a video showing you how I think an audit should go. You know, there's no rules. It's not like that auditing is like I said many times before, literally all you have to do to become an auditor is pick up a camera and start recording. The channel is linked in the chat above if any of you need to check it out. So, you know, I'll probably eventually do that. I know that a lot of people have said in the past that one of the biggest critiques they have of Audit the Audit is that I've never done an audit. I've never went and risked my own skin, which, granted, I don't think that that's a prerequisite for making the content on Audit the Audit, but I do think that it would add a lot of edgy credibility to what I'm doing to certain individuals if I put my money where my mouth is and show people what I think and how I think it should go. So I'm going to do that at some point. Yes, we can. We're going to audit the audit, the audit, the audit, the audit, the audit, all the way down. Yeah, and guys, I mean, I don't have a lot of time in my life because I am watching 400 hours of body camera footage per week on 10x speed, just to make sure that, you know, I keep up and stay up to date with the geniuses in this space, like John Felix. You know, 10x speed, 400 hours a week. I mean, I don't think anybody can keep up with me. Oh, we're at 3K already? That's awesome. That's good to hear. I needed a vacation like 3 years ago. Oh yeah, it is per day now. You're right, Yoger. My bad. That's per day. In a week, it's like, 10 times that. You do the math. 160 hours a minute, uphill both directions. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you're subscribing as soon as I wrap this up. Well, now is the time I'm wrapping this up. This will be the end of today's live stream. I hope you enjoyed my whole get up and the presentation and celebration that we engaged in today. Go check out Audit the Court. It's pinned in the chat. Thank you for your support. Saturday, I'm going to try to have the call-in thing set up so we can fuck around with that a little bit and see how it goes. Don't be scared to call in, people. I'm going to enjoy talking to you. So Saturday, different kind of stream, different kind of thing. 6 to 9 p.m. We'll see you there, Central Time. All right. That's it for today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.